Welcome to the Busy Being Born podcast with your hosts Kamande and Kigondu.
Bro.
Hey.
You still had to do it. Got to sour, man.
How are you?
Niko fresh, man.
Hey, what happened to the guest walking in?
Eh.
Now guys just see the guest immediately.
Right?
Yeah.
All good. Kuna wale wanasikiza. si ndio?
tereng moment, you
Chini ya maji.
Yeah. Ama we use AI, eh?
Yeah.
Like,
feature him.
I was watching the new the Pixel 9
Okay.
by Google. They
Yeah.
have this feature called Add Me. So unajua zile mashida za mkwase watatu and you want to take a full body picture.
You can...
Yeah, so no, you can actually, so one takes the picture, right? Then you change, alafu mnaongezea msee mwingine.
Yeah.
And then like it's called Add Me. So
Okay.
you can literally add a person
Yeah.
into a picture.
Yeah.
So like mimi napiga picha, si ndio? Napiga alafu our guest comes here. Sasa kusema guest anaitwa nani? Our guest comes here.
Uko tu tutamuintroduce.
Then you come and stand there.
Yeah.
And then he takes another picture.
Yeah.
Then we add me into the picture. So it's like the three of us who are the same nini.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, where did that even come from?
I have no idea.
Technology is amazing. AI, artificial intelligence.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
this
sir.
podcast is brought to you by AI.
Hey, yes, sir. In fact, your story, it is, I don't know, I hope a couple of people actually caught Sanctuary. You know, the play.
But that was such a dope show. Well done.
Asante mazee.
Yeah,
Hata nikisema sikuwa na angle for like the compliment and I receive it. Asante sana. I'm just saying like a lot is going on in the AI world. So sahi mtu ako, should we get excited or afraid?
Yeah.
And it's a really important place that we are. Because
Yeah.
saizi ndio tutatoboa kuangalia a lot of things from how we're interacting with it to kids in mind. I only saw kuna historia like the Game of Thrones character and a child committing suicide. Niliona like 2-3 days ago. Nico, this is insane. We are already here. So maybe this is a time to think how much progress we can make, yes, but also start thinking policy and control.
Absolutely. There are a lot of people who are thinking that. So a few things.
Yeah.
And don't get me started on AI, obviously.
Yeah.
So a few things. This year, the Nobel Prize for
I
Physics
saw that. Yeah.
and for Chemistry
yeah.
were won by people who did AI stuff.
Yeah.
So the guys at DeepMind won the for their AlphaFold. They made so much progress on problems that had been there for like 20-30 years on protein with just like a year or three with the product called with the AI called AlphaFold. And so they won the Nobel Peace Prize for Chemistry. And then the Nobel Peace Prize for Physics was also shared by one of the grandfathers of AI. So there's a lot of progress happening, but you're right. At the same time, there is so much room for things to go wrong because of how powerful that technology is. And I'm glad that there are people, I won't even talk about OpenAI, but I think there are people who are much, much smarter than me who are thinking about it, and I'm glad they are. Speaking of an application of AI that I'm finding really interesting, inaitwa Notebook LM. It's by Google. So what they've done is they've taken podcasts and then trained a model that you can feed a book or text, right? So it's what they call a multimodal model. Unaweza ipatia text, alafu it produces a podcast. And it's not a podcast ya msee moja. It actually sounds conversational.
Yeah.
Like wasi wawili, dem na chali, I think that's the default right now. Alafu one have conversation. We should actually
really
plug
cool.
one of the, I put in one of the pieces I've written on the blog.
Yeah.
And it actually produced like a 10-minute
podcast.
conversation, discussing that
That's so
article.
cool, Maze.
We should play it, man. It's so amazing.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
I like vile ume plug in blog, so check out our blog on the website, Maze. I'll do better.
No worries, I got you.
Or AI will, unajua. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you go there and check out what Kamande has been putting up.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm easy. I'm good. I'm
Okay.
good.
Sawa, man.
Lots happening.
Yes, sir.
A bit tired. Maybe not as tired as maybe last year, but tired for different reasons. But then just the nature of adulting, man.
Yeah.
Inachosha.
The nature of adulting.
Yeah, the nature of, actually not even adulting, the nature of life too.
Yeah.
Inachosha, but we are here.
Yeah.
No one is coming to save us.
Yeah. Yeah, we are all we have.
Yeah, we have,
Yeah.
right? So we might as well get on with it.
Yes, sir.
Knowing very well that it's not coming to an end.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Until the day we go down that
Oof. Until
yeah.
then, we ride on, we swing
Yeah,
hard.
we swing with it, right? And
for
try
sure.
to find peace here, even in the midst of all the fatigue and all the chaos. We must find peace, because otherwise we can't wait for this to end. Because if we're going to end, at some society, I'm going to wait for when I am less tired in order to find peace.
Yeah. Or happiness.
Or happiness.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
You might as well just find happiness and peace now.
Do it now.
In the midst of all the chaos.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Na sound bado moi sama.
And it's been a minute.
Is it right? Rusty,
Yeah.
We have a guest.
No. We have a guest.
Goja, how are you?
I'm easy, bro.
Yeah.
Kama kawaida,
Yeah.
blessed and highly favored.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah, man. So
man. It's
many
been
fresh.
his season for you, eh?
Yeah, it's been a busy season, but
Yeah.
nimetake most of the last couple of months, not months really. Habuana ni enjoy, man. Just the look, man. Because yeah, well, no, I've had a
We've
break.
been here before.
Where I say I'm having a break,
Yeah.
yet I'm really not having a break. No, I've been chilling. I've tried to do a little more sleeping. Unajua, just chilling, not to worry. I've had 2 or 3 days where I just bummed.
Yeah.
I went for swimming. I haven't done that in like a year, maybe more than a year, and it's a
Wow.
thing I really love. So juzi nilikuwa, okay, let me do that, because I'm about to get into a busy season. In fact, as of 2 days ago, Nico, okay, now we are back to the grind. So I'm not sure I've rested enough, but I've tried. So I'm easy, I'm chilled, bro.
Absolutely, man.
Yes.
Well done on Sanctuary, man. That
Asante.
was such a well put.
Yeah.
If you've never caught it, man, Paul Lesana.
Bro, we'll
That
talk
was
about it in the next episode, because
Yeah.
Pia may come with a lot. Just like even with this guest, we'll notice that, especially in our industry, a lot of joy is always attached to a lot of pain. Unajua? So as much as out here we are happy and we are proud of the products, the strain that has gone into putting the thing together, uko tu, I'm not sure I'll do this again.
And then you
But
find
punde
a
si
few
punde, you're
moments
back.
later.
You're, guys, the next one is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway,
Yeah,
I'm
all
chill.
right.
I'm chill.
Fantastic. We have a guest.
We have a guest.
We have a
guest.
guest. They've just been here sitting, nodding.
Man,
So I'm like, at what point are you bringing me in?
Finally,
Now.
we got
Now,
you, bro.
we have a guest. Bro.
We have a guest.
Are they brilliant?
Definitely brilliant.
They're brilliant.
bro.
Yeah, man. I've gone through the work they've done and their resume.
Impressive.
Man. Yeah, very impressive.
Very impressive.
Are they representing the motherland?
Oh, most definitely,
Yeah?
Maze. They're definitely representing the motherland, like we try having all our guests do. Unajua? So it so happens that they've been out here doing their thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And last but not least, are they busy being born?
Oh, they're definitely busy being born.
Aya, tupeleke na rada.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode and this particular guest. This one is a one for the books. I'm sure you guys will enjoy it. So check this out. We have, nimekuwa nikitake some powerful words from everything out there about them. So we have a content specialist. So they were doing content creation even before it became a thing as we know it. And they've actually studied for it, yeah? So they are storytelling experts. They produce as well. They do film and TV. I know them for the docs. In fact, I'll tell them how I first knew about them. They are graphic designers as well. They are fun-loving humans who create with purpose. You know, creating and purpose definitely attached to them.
Busy
And last
being
but
born.
not least,
Yeah.
because they're out here doing a lot of things in a very mtaskezi story. But last but not least, and I love this too, they are happily married. Yeah. And you like this, Kamande. And they're not just a dad, but they're a present father. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome to the podcast this morning the one and the only Fred Makori. Karibu
Where
sana.
drum rolls?
Ziko, Nani, Abu does the thing.
Abu was doing his thing. Okay, good.
We'll fix it in post. We'll fix it
Absolutely,
in
we'll
post.
fix it in post.
You know how we
Yeah,
do
I
it.
know, yeah.
Karibu
I
sana,
get you.
man.
Asante sana. I'm happy to be
Yeah.
here.
How are you doing this morning?
It's been a busy season, so a bit tired,
Yeah.
but really happy to be here. So but I'm good. I'm good, yeah.
What was the most recent thing that you changed your mind about? And it could be anything really grand or anything quite trivial and mundane.
Since you started a conversation on AI, that's one thing that I actually like 2 weeks ago that I had insight and understanding that made me change my mind around. I was those guys of this AI thing, man. I'm scared. I'm worried about it. I'm wondering, okay, what is it going to be? Is it going to be a good thing? Is it going to be a bad thing? Especially to we people who are content creators. Is it going to, wipe us out of the planet of content creation and take over? Or how is it going to be? So I was in a forum, and this was being discussed, and this one of the speakers said something very profound. He said, in the next couple of years, the market is going to be saturated by content created or generated by AI. And that will be readily available and very affordable, very cheap, and you can access it because it doesn't take a lot to create using AI. But then he said, it is going to be so saturated such that people would start looking for content that is actually created by human beings. Then that would be sold at a premium.
Sorry.
Okay, do you want to pick the call?
Timing, Maze. I'm so sorry. Hey, keep going.
Yeah. So, as I was having that conversation, then I sat back and I said, okay, fine. AI is not necessarily an evil. It is one of the mediums that it's technology advancement. It is a medium that would be used to complement. Same as GMO, for example. There's GMO foods. But organic foods, food that have been grown organically, still fetch a lot in the market. And those people would always be needed. They would always have a space. So as technology is advancing, we are also getting to a space whereby we who are human content creators, who are doing content created, you create your characters, you film them, you edit and package and put it out there. There's a space for us, and that is not going anywhere. So just an encouragement to me and many others who are feeling like, AI is coming to kick us out of the market as content creators. It will do a bit of that, but it will go full circle and it will come back. Yeah.
But also it's even as we generate more human content, if we may call it that. Yeah. Because I feel like there is always something that AI generated content lacks in terms of that human connection.
Exactly.
Even for you as a creator doesn't mean that you cannot leverage on the power of AI.
It's
right?
how can you use it to work to help you create.
And those are the creators who will the creatives
who will thrive.
Who will thrive,
It's
right?
True.
Like you don't have to go, like for instance in writing, I'm thinking like, how do I use AI? I use AI now to edit my stuff, right? Or generate ideas, and then I write through the whole thing, and then I get it to edit. Then it saves me the whole
Absolutely.
So I don't know, there are so many uses of that.
Definitely makes a lot of things easier for sure. Let's actually now use that to get into your story. Not to stand up personal first. Let's get into, I like the word content.
Yeah.
So at what point in your career, even before content creation was a thing, were you like, you know what, actually what I do is content creation? Is there a moment to like, oh, this is actually this is my product?
I've always liked creating.
Okay.
Always. Growing up, and I remember when I was about, I don't remember exactly, but I was around 1992, 93 there. I watched a live recording of there's a musician called Sandy Patty. I don't know if you know them. So Sandy Patty had this live recording. Ron Kenoli was part of the live recording.
Oh, I know Ron Kenoli.
At least you know Ron
Yes,
Kenoli.
yes.
Yeah. So I watched it and I felt like, this is so cool. How did they put this together? And that is where my curiosity began. So as through school, coming now to uni and finishing uni, and getting into the space of now creating film, TV, and radio, I knew that I want to tell stories. And telling stories is, how do you do that in short form, in long format, in different mediums? How do you do that? And that is the point where I began interrogating my creating and my storytelling and getting to a space where I'm like, you know what? this is me. I want to package content. I want to create content. I want to put it together. And that is how it all began.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason I ask is definitely because the word content, especially in our industry, comes off a bit of balance. Every time you hear a bit of, you never know how it goes. Every time you hear content and art, you almost feel as if they're two different things, So yes, so art can be packaged into content, but it doesn't mean that every content out there is artistic.
Yes.
I don't know. What do you feel about that?
No, it's true. Let me talk about what I'm good at, which is film. You see, like now for film, there's film, and then there are movies, for lack of a better word.
Wait, so we have those are different things.
So these are two different things. Films. Let me quote one of the renowned directors in the country. He said something that I sort of agree to some extent, is that films will win you an Oscar, movies will not. If you pick a director like Christopher Nolan, he would give you, film is an artistic expression of a story. A movie is a story told, period. Whether it is, you just did one shot per scene, as in just wide on one scene and let's move to the next. So long as it's moving to somewhere, we told it. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, don't kill me, but I feel like what Tyler Perry does.
Okay. As long as it's not local. Go for it.
So Tyler Perry, what he does is mostly he just tells the story. Local in Africa, most of those used to be Nigeria, but nowadays, of course, they've really they're cool stuff that is coming from that side. So those kind of stories that are just told for the sake of telling stories, and we don't give so much creative thought into it. There is nothing wow about it. It doesn't have a connection somewhere. It's not experimental. There's nothing. It is just a story told. So yes. So the like now in film, every film is a story told, but there are others that are an artistic expression. Yeah, so I agree with you. I was saying all this to come to a point where I'm agreeing with you. Yes.
Yeah.
Every content, there's just content, and there's an art to the content creation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So all art can be made into content, but not all content has that artistic flair.
Yes.
Okay, expression.
Yeah.
Got it. Let's go back. You mentioned 1992, 93, right? Let's go all the way back. Where was this?
Yeah.
And at what stage of your schooling life were you when you
maybe you're like 14 years old? 14 years old in 92. You might be sitting with Pharrell.
92. Where was I? 94 I was in standard 6, so 92 I was 4. Yeah, I was in class 4, I think, around class 4 there.
Okay.
Yes, so we were in a place in Vihiga County where my dad used to work. And we'd borrowed. I remember we didn't own a TV, but we borrowed one for that. I think it was a short duration. The one we borrowed from, I think, had traveled, and so we were sort of taking care of their space, and then we borrowed their TV and their VCR player, recorder, those cassettes.
Yeah.
So that I watched it using that cassette that you
the live recording.
exactly.
Do you know?
Yeah.
I just had an moment.
Yeah.
Because when you said live recording, I thought you were actually in the audience.
No. That
so vile umeanza story ya
Vihiga.
When did you
Vihiga. Vihiga niko.
Maybe Sandipati toured Vihiga in 92, 93.
Nico,
it was not live like we're in person attending.
No.
Live on through TV.
Vile umeanza story ndio niko.
Yeah.
Hey, but you should have asked. Maybe Sandipati toured Vihiga.
Aki alikuwa Vihiga.
In 92. Because I do remember Ron Kendall. This is worship music, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so is this telling of your background? Are you like heavily Christian back then?
Yes.
This is your home?
Yes. So this is home. I'm born to a pastor. My dad was a pastor for a long time.
No wonder.
No wonder why?
Ron Kendall. Yeah.
No,
What?
Nando umepotea. See, I'm kidding. I'm making a joke. Like,
Oh.
Nando umepotea because they make that joke of, pastors' kids.
Pastor's kids. Ah.
He's actually
Anyway,
clearly you're actually the
so-
exception. But keep going.
So I'm born to a pastor dad. Was a pastor for a long time. Retired. Then my mom became a pastor after he retired. So it's been a continuum of pastors in the family. I was literally, a Christian from my mother's womb. I joke like that because from there it was just it's church, it's Bible study, it's all that from the get-go. Born into church. Sunday school was just a must. You have to go to Sunday school whether you like it or you don't. It was a must. We grew up as Christians. Went to high school. I'm like, you know what? I don't think I like this Christian thing too much. It is forced down on me. I didn't like it a lot, so I decided to rebel a bit and try the other side. I was like,
This is where Sasa Kamande's
yes.
point
Now, Sasa, you can go. No wonder. Go ahead.
No wonder. No wonder.
Explains the rebellion.
Okay.
So rebelled a bit. Tried, but I was like, you know what? It's okay. Where I was, I'm okay. Yeah. So it's been a Christian all my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's highlight that season.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
92, 93.
Yes.
You are in class 4,
Yeah.
somewhere in, Vihiga,
Yes.
right?
Well, school in Kisumu, but living in
you're
Vihiga.
schooling in Kisumu.
Yes.
Right? How's the family set up like? So your dad at this point, he's still a pastor?
Yeah, my dad is a pastor at that point and teaching in a Bible college.
Okay.
Yes, at that point.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was
Ulikuwa ndani.
Deep.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's a pastor. He's teaching there. My mom was stay-at-home mom. I have a big sister, Betty. I have a sister who's I'm second born. Then there's another sister called Nancy. There's my brother Brian and our last born Mike.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are 5.
There's 5 of you. Okay.
Yes.
So primary school, class 4, you watch this performance of Sandy Party.
Yes.
And you get that inspiration. First
Yeah.
of all, that's who'd have thought that you get content.
Yeah.
and I'm not even it. No slight against it.
Yeah,
such productions.
yeah.
But it's a wonderful thing. So you finish primary school.
Yeah.
Still in Kisumu.
No. Now in standard 6. That's why I used standard 6 94 as a reference. So we moved from Kisumu to Kisii. So I finished my schooling in Kisii.
Kisii.
That's why I did my
Boarding,
class 8
primary
day school.
day school. Sorry. Yeah.
Yes.
All through.
Yeah.
All through.
No, boarding for a bit. Standard 4 I was in boarding a bit. Refused to continue in boarding. Went back to day school. Class 8 I did the first time. Didn't quite perform as I'd wanted. I always wanted to do either Starehe or Kabarak. Those are the 2 schools that I wanted. And now in class 8, a third school came in, Mangu. Mangu simply because they did a bit of aviation in their curriculum. That is why I needed to.
And this is what you wanted.
And I wanted to go into the aviation industry because you see, back on my mind, I still want to create content, do film, do TV, and whatnot. It's there. But at that point, that is a hobby. It is not considered as a career, as a professional career. So I needed to have, what do you want to be when you grow up? Yeah. It is not, you can't go tell guys, me I want to create film and to do TV. There has to be something that you really want to do. Yeah. So I wanted to go into aviation and I didn't define that. I knew at that point it was a pilot, but I don't think it was really a pilot. It was something bigger than a pilot. I needed to create those planes that fly. So I wanted to do aeronautical engineering when I came to know about it. Okay. That's when I said, that's what I want to do. Okay. Yes, yeah.
So this is the ambitious side of you. Unajua, a kid who's trying to figure what choices I'll make for the future that have meaning and unajua, respect and all.
Yes.
But what sort of child are you? The reason I ask is on your placing in the family grade
Yes,
thing,
yes,
unajua
yeah,
number 2
yeah.
kidogo kidogo unasaulika. Then mtoto wa pasi pia kuna things tuna expect of you.
Yes.
So for instance, we had a guest Mufasa the poet ambaye alidiscover ana gift ya spoken word akiomba kwa parade. Unakumbuka? Akiwa yes lord and unajua ndio ako oh snap, this is super dope.
Turn this into,
Unajua this is the thing.
His first performance was for God.
Unajua,
audience of one.
Ndio. So what sort of child are you? Are you outgoing? Are you a quiet child? To a point where you're like, you go to boarding school and say, "I me by this tacky." What does this say about, especially now as an adult, looking back, who do you think you are?
I was a loner.
Okay.
I was just very reserved. Actually, as long as I remember, I was such a loner. I enjoyed, loved, thrived in my own company. I didn't like to be around people. I didn't speak much. I didn't make friends easily. I liked my own space. It was so bad. In high school, I remember I went for only 2 outings and they were compulsory.
No. Like from 1 to form 4?
From 1 to form 4. I went
You
to
only
2.
left school twice.
To go for an outing? Twice. And they were compulsory.
Walalala. Mi nilika class 2 twice.
And ilikuwa compulsory. Otherwise ungeka.
But anyway.
Yeah, that's
okay.
that was me. I was a very
weren't
chilled
as
out.
outgoing.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't even assertive. I was just there. I was just a very boring kid. That was me growing up. Very boring, very chilled out. People who know me now
are surprised.
can't reconcile the two.
Yeah.
Like how can you be that kind of person and this at the same time?
Yeah.
This me came out in campus.
Okay, we'll get there. Interesting.
Yeah,
We'll get there.
yeah. So I was a chilled out, very loner, loner yani imbaya.
Okay. Any highlights or lessons you recall from this part of your life? So other than you seeing Sandy Party and getting this inspiration, and you wanting to go do aviation as your main gig, any lessons from the primary school part of your life? At least things that you carry to date.
So in primary in Kisumu, I was in high school, a highway primary school in Kisumu. There's a time we were playing, and then I think I got angry and picked a rock and threw it to one of the boys that we were playing with. And so they're running, and then I aim just in front, and then he ran right into the rock and the boy bled. Paka was like,
On the head?
On the head. He bled, but luckily he didn't pass. We became very good friends after that. He didn't pass.
Do you remember what he did to make you that angry?
I can't remember. I know that I was very angry, really angry. But he bled, and it was very, very bad. Barely 2 weeks later, we're playing again, and there's this boy. He was really huge, and so I'm like, Yokozuna, and he was so mad for me calling him Yokozuna.
Yeah, the
So
Yokozuna had this weird move, which was to sit on people.
Yeah.
That was
sitting on people.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
That was crazy.
But anyway, so
that was his finisher move.
that
How
was
did he
finish a
even
movie.
Finish him.
take you to the corner, then he sits on you?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. So so I call him Yokozuna, and that boy was so angry, and same move that I'd done on me. Yes.
Yeah.
I bled. I still have a mark right here on my head from that incident. So I bled. I think from those 2 instances, but the lesson that now, hindsight, then I didn't pick it quite much, is like, do unto others what you'd want them to do to you. Because at that point, it was just the rock. And it
You were
happened.
justified.
I was justified, and then it happened to me, and I'm thinking, no, you are not justified. How can you do this to me?
That's extreme.
So man, so at that point it was a lesson that now today I know is do unto others what you expect them to do unto you. From that small experience.
High school.
Yes.
Where are we, and how is this experience this time? Apart from, we'll have to talk about the two mandatory times that you had to go out. But how is high school?
Do you make it to
experience
any
for
of
you?
the three? Do you make it to?
So I did first time, didn't hit the mark. Then I was like, you know what? I tell my dad, I just want to go one more time.
Okay, so you
repeat class 8.
Wow. First
Yeah.
of all,
Do you remember this was a thing?
it was a
It
thing, but
was,
mostly came from the parents, right?
Yeah. So it
Mostly
was-
came from
Oh,
the
yeah,
parents.
yeah.
Like,
I remember.
It's impressive that
You made this choice.
like
Yeah,
you're that ambitious to
because
make
I
that
was
choice.
I was so sure it's Tare or Mangu or Kabarak at least. Because now I'm working very hard to get out of Kisii so I can come to Nairobi. Because I'd never stepped foot in Nairobi, by the way, ever. So I knew there's Nairobi, the headquarter of the country, and that's the place we all want to go to. So I did class 8 the first time, didn't perform quite well. I got 473 marks. I tell my dad.
This is 700.
This is 700.
Yeah.
This is 700. So I tell my dad, you know what? This won't take me to Starehe or wherever I want to go. So I want to do it one more time. So my dad agrees and supports me and says, you know what? So that you can concentrate, I'm going to take you to a boarding. At this time, of course, I'm a bit more mature and I agree. So we go to a boarding and there we are. For that whole year, I worked hard, but it didn't get me still what I wanted. I improved, got 532.
Okay, that's a massive improvement.
Yes, but it didn't get me to the 600 and whatever that was required for me to go to Starehe or Mangu or Kabarak. But hindsight, grateful that didn't happen. So I got admitted to Kanga High School. It's somewhere in Migori. It's one of those powerhouses in Nyanza.
So Kisii hautoki, bro.
Yes. Imekata man. Niko tu in the periphery man. Najaribu kuepa lakini ni kama nimefungiwa mguu mahali nakimbia nikifika mahali nimerudishwa. Exactly. So I go to Kanga High School. I arrive and before we get to the dorm, everything that I came with is gone.
Nime smile too, Nico. Before I get to the dorm, Nico, I know where this is going.
Everything is gone. Like, you know, the way they'll give you people to help you take your stuff to the dormitory.
The goons.
Yeah, so this one goes with the basin, this one goes with the bucket, that one goes with something else, that one goes with something else. All I'm left with is the box.
The uniform.
Na uniform ile nimevaa. So those are the only things that I have to go with into the dormitory.
Yeah.
That is day 1. Day 2, monolization proper begins. For that, I think by the end of week 1, I was done with school. I woke up in the morning on a Saturday, walked right through the front gate. I didn't even go at the fence, walked through the front gate. I think the watchie had gone due to take a hike or whatever it is. I don't know.
I'm out of this place.
I walked right through, went to the stage, picked a mat and went home.
And told you.
And told my folks,
I'm done.
mimi nimemalizana na shule. Sitaki. Kama munipeleki day school, I am done.
Do you remember one instance of the bullying?
So this one, the worst was you're given a 10 bob and you're told go buy full bread. Na ulete change, a specific amount of, I think it was about, na ulete 7 shillings change. So your bread ilikuwa, I think 20 bob or something like that, full loaf. So you have to get 10 shillings extra and the change.
And another 7 shillings.
Yes. So that now you come back with the bread and the change. And you're given 10 bob. That wasn't bad. You are woken up very early in the morning and you're told to kneel in the kokoto.
Ballasts.
Yes.
And this is fellow students.
This is fellow students.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you kneel there, wait for the time for your showering time. Another instance I remember, we were, the prefects had so much authority, they would actually give you kiboko. That was, they would cane you thoroughly. So they call us
Fellow
and they're
students.
like fellow students. They'll call us and we go into their cubicles. They had special cubicles within the dormitories. They'll go, you go in there, you're given your kibokos. I remember one time in the dining hall, we had this huge dining captain. He was so huge. His palm, I think it was twice mine. He slapped me across the face.
This is in your first week.
This is my first week. All this is happening in my first week. Across the face. For a moment, I just saw stars. I didn't even know where. By the time I was coming to, I could not tell whether I'm in school, I'm home, I'm in the dormitory class. I could not. I was so confused. First week. So by Saturday, I was done. I'd reported on a Tuesday. By Saturday, I was done. Walked through the front gate. I was home. I told my parents, I'm done. I don't want this thing.
Their reaction?
My dad was like, hapo ndio utasoma.
Oh.
That is where you would go. Yeah. And I was like, I don't want to go. Hapo ndio utakuwa. Took me, and he didn't even bother that I'll take you back to school. He didn't. He said the same way you came, go back. And Mimi, I went. Of course, I stayed because of course I feigned sickness.
Couple
But
of
so
days home.
I stayed like that Sunday, I think on a Monday or a Tuesday. Carried myself, went back to school. I was there for a bit.
Had something changed in your mind? Were you going to have a different approach?
No.
Or were you just
No,
stoic
me,
about it?
I was clear. I don't want school.
Yeah.
I was clear about that. I don't
You
want
don't
school.
want school, or you do not want this
This
school?
If this was school, I don't want school. If it was going to be a different experience, fine. I am okay. So if this was school, I don't want it. So I might go back to school anyway. Again, I sneak back in. Lucky me. Nobody noticed
Hey.
absence.
How
It's for real.
big was the school? How many
I
were you
were
in Form 1?
many. We were about 600, I think. We were about 600, the entire school. So I think nobody
And it's
because
week
in its
one.
first week,
Yeah.
you've not even started learning masomo
Yeah,
proper,
yeah.
and so roll call has not started being adhered to properly.
No one would know that
No
you're
one
missing.
will notice that there's anyone missing. So yeah, there we were. I went back again to school, stayed in that. I think I stayed the term, but when I came back again, I was not. I kept insisting I don't want to go back to this school, but nobody cared. Nobody wanted to hear anything about it because everybody knew that Kanga High School is the school to be in, because it was Kanga, it was St. Mary's Yala, and Maseno. Those are the schools in Nyanza at that point, and others that were not as. So there we were. The haggle, the tussle,
The
my dad
bullying. Let's call it
refused.
for what it is. The bullying continued.
At home.
Okay.
But in school, the bullying is ongoing. So you're just figuring out a way of staying, like ducking and not being in the space of where you can be quickly picked and bullied. Surviving. That what happened. I think at some point I decided, I think either term two, somewhere in the middle there, I decided, you know what, enough is enough again. Walked out of school, went home, got home. I think they were out, and they're somewhere. I don't remember where they were. But nobody was there, so I wrote a letter, and I told them, you know what, I am gone, and until you something like that. I don't remember exactly the words. Until you're ready to switch schools for me, I'm gone. So I was stupid, like me. So I leave home. I go to my grandma's place, my mom's mom. I go there. They knew, of course. Where else would I go? So I stayed there the night. The following morning, early in the morning, my mom comes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I thank God for my uncle, who's late now, Uncle George. He told my mom, you go, I will talk to him. Because my mom came home. They came with my dad, but my dad stayed somewhere in the shopping center. My mom came home. But my uncle told him, you know what, if you go with him now, because all I are angry, you kill this boy. So let me just have a moment with him and just talk to him, and we will deal with it later. So my mom left, but was happy that I'm okay. So my uncle sat me down and gave me and listened to me. We had a long, very productive conversation. He changed my mind. I think because he listened. He heard me out, and then because he listened to me, I was able to listen to him. And from that conversation, I went back to school. Third term, that's what, now towards the third term. I went back to school in third term, and I was willing now to stay in school and work hard because of that encounter with my
conversation.
uncle. Yeah.
What bits do you remember from the conversation?
There's an analogy he gave me.
Yeah.
And he said, you have a tree and it's casting a shadow. If you dig where the shadow is, that shadow is not going away. You'll be doing an exercise in futility. You would dig here today, and when the sun goes to the other side, you'll go dig the other side. The shadow would always be there. It will just be rotating around the tree. And he looked at me and said, you know what? You may say you don't want to go to school, but what are you doing to your future? Because the problem is not school. The problem is what you're going through in school. So that is what we need to deal with. Because what you're doing is digging the shadow and not dealing with the root of the problem. So how can we work together so that you are able to continue schooling and still
Secure your
survive?
future. Yeah.
Survive within that context, because your parents are not going to change you from that school. How can you still go to that school and have a future? Because what you're doing right now is laying a foundation for your future. So that is one analogy that sank. And I was like, at the end of the day, yes, I'm trying to run away from this school. I'm even willing to let go of schooling at Kabisa, but that is not the problem. The problem is the experience that I'm having in this school. So how can I survive this experience and still get educated? So that conversation set me thinking and began, building a paradigm shift in my thinking. By the time I was going back to school, I was already set that, whatever comes my way, I'm going to try and survive it, because this is for my own good. Yeah.
Okay. Question.
Yep.
As a parent now, and we'll discuss this, how do you approach such a situation? Because I always find myself, there's this whole conversation within, like we're raising a generation of soft people because we're preventing them from such things, right? How do you approach it as a parent now?
I think for me, because what worked is that somebody was willing to listen and hear me out. And I feel listening is the solution. Just get to listen, hear what they're saying. Because even if it's that rebellion, even if it's that disobedience, whatever it is that they're doing, there's something they're saying. Listen, get to hear it out. I know there's a place of being assertive and saying, okay, this is where we draw the line. This is something that we're not going to cross. That's so long as you're under my roof, this is what we're going to do. There's a place for that. But as a parent, am I hearing what my children are saying? And that is where the solution lies.
Okay.
It is in what they're saying. Am I hearing it?
Yeah.
So I'll listen more.
So assuming you listen to them and you hear what they're saying, how is there room, and how much room is there really for such hardships? So are we willing to put up with kids being bullied, our kids being bullied in school, simply because this toughens them up?
No. Okay. No, not at all. I draw the line there.
Okay.
You tell me I'm being bullied and I establish that it's true, that is the end of me and that school.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's no room for that.
So you'd probably have had the child removed.
Yes, I probably would have switched schools. For the benefit of this child. Because I think that messed me up for a bit. Yeah, I mental health Now I understand what mental health is.
Yeah.
But that was me right in
was a
there.
strain.
There's a
Trainer
name for what
season.
you're going through now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I can place a name to what I was going through then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it really messed me up.
Did you do all your 4 years there?
Yeah, I did all my 4 years there.
Okay. How was the
'Cause
rest of your
figured-
experience?
I figured out a way of coping.
Okay.
I became
The bully.
no. I became I didn't become the bully. I hid. I sort of became, what is the word? Invisible. Yes. So that you would not find me in those spaces where you would find room for bullying.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
hence not going
You
for any
leaving school,
outing.
okay.
Oh.
Hence all those. So I became very invincible. So it's
Interesting.
okay.
You're
Go
those students who like no one knows what
I
they
mean,
do.
Yeah.
they don't-
Yeah.
until
No, you
around
just-
I think Form 4 thereabout. That is
Yeah.
Everywhere else.
Now when
I was,
you're on top of a food chain,
yes,
right, you're
right
from
there,
4.
nobody can
bully you now.
Yeah, nobody can. bully me.
This is traumatic to a point where someone chooses invisibility.
Yeah.
Unajua, I remember, speaking of invisibility, I remember a UK TV show. Ilikuwa inaitwaje? Ilikuwa inaitwa, I don't remember the name. But the storm happens. There's a storm that happens random Friday night. Then everyone a lot of people get powers. But you get a power attached to something that you're struggling with. So one of the characters got invisibility, but that's because they never felt seen, or they were in spaces where they always opted to play
Yes.
small. So maybe that would have been yours.
That would have been
Nikikumbuka
mine,
the
for
name
sure.
of the show.
Yeah.
Iko mtu anakumbuka the name of the show? Abu Grace, no?
Nobody.
Misfits.
Misfits.
That
I
was
know
the name of it.
yeah.
Exactly.
I remember I watched that a couple.
Anyway,
Yeah.
there you go. So the next 2, 3, 4 years, how is that for you? At least any highlights in that season?
So because I'd missed a couple
Yeah.
of the whole of Form 1, actually I'd missed it a lot.
Okay.
And so I'm behind in academics. I'm poor. I'm a poor performer. I remember, I think by the time I was going to Form 2, I barely made it because repeating was a thing then. There was a red line. There's the list, and then there's a red line. So everyone below the red line would repeat. Is not proceeding to the next class. I was just somewhere above that red line. I was not too far from those who would have repeated Form 1. Form 2, Form 2 is when I begin now to put in the work. I put in the work. I'm trying, but I'm of course late because I decided, what, I'll be here because you want me to be here. That is in Form 1, but I'm not going to do anything. I'm not even going to work hard because you want me here. Fine, I'll be here. But then now Form 2 is when I begin to when I need to pay attention. I need to listen in. So I struggle a bit in Form 2. But Form 3, by the time I was going to Form 4, I think I had a D or something like that.
Wow.
On average, or something like that in the periphery. I didn't do very well. But by the time we were doing the first term, there was a pre-mock in first term. I'd gone up, I think, to about a C+ or something like that.
There was improvement.
Yeah. And by the time we were doing the mocks at the end of the term 2, when we were doing the mocks on term 2, had gone up to a B. It was a B- or a B plain. Yeah. So for me, I was determined that I have to make it. And Form 4, what really even made me work even harder was at that point at Form 4, I began making friendships, even at home. At least I'm starting now to open up and make friendships and whatnot. And by virtue of the school I was in, so at home I'd get friends because they want to be associated. So I remember at some point, either my dad or I don't remember who said this. He said that, what? All these people that are hanging around you, if you fail, you will not have anyone. Oh, that crushed me.
Reverse psychology.
That crushed me. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I'm not going to fail.
Yeah.
I refuse. I will not fail. So I worked very, very hard. So by the time I was actually KCSE, I got a B plus. Not what exactly I wanted, but
It's still
Hey,
impressive.
coming
A
from a
year
D.
ago, yeah.
exactly, yeah. So I was there.
Still
I was like, yo, yeah, I can't. I'm going to the university no matter what. Now this Kisii, I'm saying bye bye to it.
Finally.
Yeah.
Lazima. How are you with the girls?
What
Yeah.
girls? He's never good.
Exactly. I was
No, but at
invincible.
home. Si wanajua ule mse wa
I
kanga.
was invincible as no zero. But
Yeah.
boy.
Yo, okay, so by the time you're in Form 4, you're not talking to girls.
I
it's
am.
just
I don't
mostly-
have a girlfriend. Never
Yeah.
had a girlfriend.
No one
I'm not
ever
talking
wrote a
to
letter to you?
girls.
Yeah.
The only letter I wrote was those of exchanging sijui papers, those sijui nini, those kind. Ati a romantic kind of zero.
Okay.
Zero.
What are the 2 times that you left school?
So we
Ni hizo
went
mbili za
academic
kutoroka.
tours. Kuna za kutoroka. Kuna hizo mbili za kutoroka.
That's it.
Okay, so 4 in total. So what are the other
So
2?
4 in total. So the others,
Yeah.
one was it was an academic tour within, I don't know where we went.
Yeah.
And the second one was also an academic tour. We came to Naivasha, Hell's Gate.
Okay.
Hizo mbili.
Geography.
Geography.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it.
Is that the closest you had been to Nairobi?
That was the closest I've been to Nairobi, Hell's Gate, hapa Naivasha.
Yeah.
Paka we were like, you know what? Si driver tu
Hamulie.
amue tu kanyage.
Tujuzishe.
At least twende tu tuoneke ICC.
Na parliament.
Na parliament.
Yeah, you go back. Oh man.
That's what's up.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
I had so you're not participating in anything else?
I wasn't participating in
No
anything.
drama.
Sport.
Okay,
music,
so I was
sports.
interested in drama. I went to drama, and the day I went in, there were the auditions. You know what they said? You know, I'm a Christian. Then they're like, you know what? 2 of you come, demonstrate doggy style.
Ah,
Eh?
Yes.
that is extreme, but what?
I was like,
What a school.
I'm out.
that was the last they saw me.
I'm out. Yeah.
That was the last they saw me. Then drama was no longer. I didn't care.
Yo,
Yeah.
that is extreme.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is extreme.
Exactly. So I was like, he's on the
Wacha
kaeni.
ikae.
It's okay,
Yo,
thanks.
What? Okay. Okay.
Oh, hey, is the school still there?
That is extreme.
Oh, it is there. It is there. It is a very good school.
Do you
by
think
the way.
things
It's
have
still there.
changed?
A lot. A lot. Things
sure.
have changed a lot.
Inevitably.
Hey, they've changed.
Inevitably.
Yeah, you know I remember that every time we have a conversation with people who went to schools like that here on the podcast, we always come to a story of the trauma that came from high
Yeah.
school days.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people. Keep it as well, right? I feel like Kibet. Are you in the same school with Nani?
Nani?
Not Kibet.
The stand-up comedy.
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. What's his name, man? His name
Douglas Mutai.
Douglas Mutai.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing happened with him. Both of us here. I feel like man, I hope things have changed. I really hope things have changed.
I'm
because-
sure for my alma mater,
Yeah.
things have changed.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
all
a
of
lot.
us,
It's now it's
Yeah.
a good, really good school.
we like to think that we turned out all right, despite
Yeah.
going all.
I know the
but I'm
trauma
not
was
very
there.
sure we turned out all right.
Tuko tu sawa. Tuli survive.
Yeah.
Here we
Yeah.
are to tell the story.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what's
Sorry.
up.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So before you know it,
Mm.
tuko UN.
Yes.
So is there a gap here? Oh, I guess.
Yes.
of course.
Oh, of course.
Of course there's a gap
Yes.
here.
Yes.
But soon enough we're here.
Yes.
How is that transition for you?
So
What are you doing in this gap year?
I try so many things.
Preparing
I
to
try so
leave.
many things. That there's a biz I tried. It didn't work. Selling printed cards, bookmarks. It didn't work very well. Whatever I sold, I ate. So, so it didn't
So
work.
it was not a problem with the business. It was a problem
No.
with the businessman.
It's the business owner
the
was
business
the
owner.
problem. It's not the business. The business was amazing. If I'd continued, I'd probably be having an empire today. But so that year, nothing much is happening. Immersed myself in church a lot. Did a lot of church activities. So all the outings I didn't go to I did them now in that gap year. I did a lot of church camps, did a lot of music festivals for church. So did a lot of church manenos.
Are you enjoying it? Are you good at it?
I'm having fun. I'm good at it. I'm really having a good time.
Do you have a girlfriend?
I don't.
Okay.
I still don't have a girlfriend.
Are you conscious
So-
of you not having one?
No.
Okay.
I am like I don't know. I think probably opportunity. I think it's opportunity. I mean, a space where it's not the thing at that point, and everybody's discouraging it. So in my head is like, you know what? That's not important
That's not
right
a
now.
priority.
That is not priority. So let's deal with priorities. So finish. It's time to come to UON. Good thing is my dad gets a gig to teach a college here in Nairobi. And since I'm coming to UN anyway, he decides, just come and experience Nairobi for a bit.
So this is before uni.
So this is before, I think a month or two before I joined uni. So take a trip down to Nairobi, join him.
Let's earmark that year. When is this?
It's 2003.
Karibu
Yeah, I think this is 2003. That is now Karibu Nairobi.
Yeah.
So I come to Nairobi. I'm here, but I think he lives on, because I don't remember whether I came earlier than he did or he left me here. That is unclear. But I come to Nairobi. I land in Rongai. So Rongai is the place.
So
I
maybe
spend.
not Nairobi, but proceed.
See what you did
I
there.
passed through
Asante.
Nairobi. I passed through Nairobi. Whether it's through Nairobi or it is.
Oh, no, I'm kidding.
But
I'm
you
kidding.
passed through Nairobi.
I passed through Nairobi,
Yeah, Nairobi.
as I went to the diaspora.
Yeah.
So, so I landed at Rongai, stayed
Yeah.
there. So I remember this day, I decided, you know what, let me take a mat, go into town. There was an uncle of mine who's a cop, used to stay at Central Police. So I let me come to Nairobi and go visit my uncle at Central Police. That's where he used to work, and the quarters behind there, so he used to stay. So mat Nairobi, the Rongai mats is national mapi railways. So from railways, I arrived to Nairobi at 9 a.m. I think I found Central at about noon. Or something like that. Why are you laughing?
Umetafuta kutafuta.
All the buildings
I
look
went
the same.
round. Everything is the same. So
no,
I
no.
go round.
Uko.
And then I'm like, I
Sini-
just left this place.
Uko ini afya center.
Sasa nilifika hapa saje. Then I decided, okay, fine. Instead of going that route, because it will
Let's
bring
take
me
this
right
one.
here,
Yeah.
let me go this other one. Go round, same place. I was like, yo. And that at that point, you've been told all these horror stories that you don't ask for directions from Nairobians. If you do, they will steal from you. Watakuacha ka uko na ngodha peke yake.
Nairobi
Yeah.
half-life.
Yes, there will be half-life, real life. So I don't want to ask anyone. But nimezunguka. So I'm tired, I'm hungry, I'm sweaty, nimechoka. I was like, okay, come munibe. What do I have anyway? I don't even have a phone. I have nothing. The only thing I have is that 50 bob that is going to take me back to Rongai. It's fine. Nibieni. So I approach a soldier somewhere there in one of those shops. I'm like, hey, Central Police iko happy. And then he's like, you know what? Hapa penye uko, enda tu straight utaona Central Police. That was now Moi Avenue. So I walked straight up all the way until I saw Gentoi. Yeah. So I'm there. I was like, shh. So by the time I'm getting there, of course, my uncle has gone for patrol. We can't meet. So again, straight Moi Avenue, shwee, Paka Railways, got into a mat, went back to Rongai. So that was my sort of welcome to Nairobi. Yeah.
Okay. And so this is a month before uni.
Yes.
Then a month after you come back and now join uni. Are you
Yes.
staying within
the
hostels?
Yes, I remember prefabs 3. Right now they burnt them down.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, so,
I was in prefab 1 maybe a few years later.
Interesting. Yeah, so prefabs 3, room.
You remember the room?
2. Yes, room 2. Prefabs 3, room 2. Yeah, so I was there. So anyway, come to uni, registration. My dad comes with me. We go through the registration process. And since, I'm a Christian good boy, we go register for the Christian Union because they were there. The desk is there, register. And then they give me somebody who right now is an ambassador to Nigeria. So we go. He takes me to the rooms where I've been assigned. We finish from the registration at the at the Uku main.
Main campus, huh?
Yes. Then I'm taken up because I was in ADD. So I'm taken up to SWA so that we can be assigned the rooms. I'm assigned prefabs 3, room 2, go in, and I meet my roommates.
All
So-
these years later,
Yeah.
you do not know what ADD means.
Oh, okay. Right now, I don't think it's ADD anymore. But yeah, ADD is architecture, design, and development.
In development, okay.
Yes. So it's architecture, design, and development. So that is where right now it's called, I think, School of Built Environment or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So we go, get my room, get into the room. Then I meet my 2 roommates, Ogish and Ted. Ogish is an electrical engineer. Ted is a mechanical engineer. And then life begins in uni. Yeah.
Finally.
And so it begins.
Yes. And so it begins.
So it begins.
I mean,
Look at that.
It's not aeronautical engineering.
Yeah,
but still,
by something.
we're in Nairobi.
I'm in Nairobi.
Hey.
I mean, in the UON.
Yes.
University of Nairobi.
I am
Yeah.
pursuing a course that is close to what I'd wanted to do. all along.
What are you studying? Let's put
I'm studying design.
design. Okay.
Yeah, I'm studying design. So all along me, I want to do production design. That's what in my mind I thought this would be. But I quickly rediscovered that no, that's not what it's going to be. It probably would be part of it, but it's not what it's going to be. So we have 5 disciplines. We have fashion design, we have product design, we have illustration, interior design, and graphic design. So in first 2 years, you have to do all of them. Then when you get to 3rd year, then you can specialize, pick whichever discipline that you want to. So
So you went graphic.
may I do graphics design. That's what I pick at the 3rd year. Yeah. So but first and second, everything. We did everything. I hated interior design. I didn't like product design much. I fashion a bit, not too much, but graphics and illustration I loved.
Okay.
But I decided, you know what, illustration, I'm not an artist, I'm not going that direction. So let's do graphics.
Yeah.
The artist demands on a graphic designer would be, in my opinion, then would be less than this illustration.
Yeah.
Okay. How's the campus experience for you? Is it by the end of it, bado hujatoka more than twice? How
I
is it for you?
blew up.
Okay.
In campus, I blew up. I don't know what shifted. I think it's probably the freedom or the exposure. I don't know. Something changed. I blew up. The introvert left, and all of a sudden there's this extrovert. I'm there. I'm everywhere, all at once. I'm doing everything that can be done.
So this is Christian Union.
This is Christian
class.
Union.
This is what else?
Well, class suffered
Okay.
a lot. So everything else that is no class related,
Thrived. Yeah.
I enjoyed. I enjoyed hanging out and just, at Sanford until 3 a.m.
Yeah.
in the morning, and then walking in the middle of the road back to the hostels.
Yeah.
Oh, it's me.
Uko tu sawa.
Okay.
Keep going.
Yeah, so we walking back to the hostels at 3 a.m. and just dominating the Moi Avenue,
streets of
and
Nairobi.
and cars, bullying the cars. A car is coming, and like Peter Nauko. I look at those universities, I'm like, oh, this is karma, yani. Wow.
Yeah.
The way they're just catwalking when you're there driving,
And you hoot.
Toka bana. Kumbe ni wewe.
that was me.
Yeah.
A couple of years. So I enjoyed all that. Going to places. Yeah.
Did you do CU? It was called Msusu.
Msusu, yes. I did Msusu. I Msusu through and through.
The whole
These are
4 years.
initials.
The whole
Yeah, Msusu.
4
I don't know what
years.
it meant,
Main
but it-
campus Christian Union.
Main
Main
campus.
campus.
Main campus Christian
Oh,
Union.
Msusu. It's the double C.
Yeah.
That is random.
The double C, yeah.
I think it was a lot more derogatory than anything. One of us saw Msusu.
Yes,
I would
Msusu.
say.
Yes. Okay, I did Msusu the whole time.
Eh.
I dabbled a bit with salt. I'd sneak into salt on some of the Thursdays.
What is salt?
Salt now is a campus ministry by Mamlaka Hill Chapel.
Oh, it's still a C.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So no, it's not. It's salt.
It's called
like
SALT.
trophy.
Oh.
Yes. So it's
Interesting.
serving a living transformer.
Yeah. That used to be more cooler than Msusu.
That was the cool one. So
Oh, you
we
knew,
Msusu-
you knew about
I
salt
knew,
as well.
I knew about, because you know, you talk to people and they tell you, what are you doing tonight?
I mean,
So now
okay,
the thing
salt.
is,
I
we
almost went to
Msusu-
Salt a lot of times.
So
Be-
we
for
Msusu
different
guys
reasons.
used to look at salt people and were like, you need to get saved.
Yeah.
There's
Alcohol
a level
conk
of
enough.
salvation amjapata.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I could do salt because they're cool. A bit,
Let me
but I
guess.
didn't-
It was
yeah.
the girls who took you there.
Nah.
It's okay.
Safe space.
It was the music.
It was the music.
Interesting.
Okay.
It was
Yeah,
the
they had
music.
very good music.
It was the music.
Yeah.
It was the music.
Yeah.
And the snacks. Yeah, it was the music and the snacks.
Yeah.
That's what would take me to salt. So I did both Msusu and salt, but I was very committed
Msusu.
in Msusu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you did not close yourself up to all these other experiences.
Like
Like, I don't know.
before I sell myself.
Did you go out? Did you?
So I did, but I didn't like it much. Okay. I went clubbing like twice. Wait, this is number 2. I went clubbing like twice, but I didn't like it.
Okay.
I didn't enjoy it. Though every Friday, I used to be exiled. Apo prefabs room too.
Pole, mazee.
My roommates, so we became 4, but the third roommate was sort of like prefabs 4, 5 or something like that, but would most of the time spend, because they were classmates with Ogish, the electrical engineer.
Yeah.
So we'd spend time at our place. We would cook together. We would do stuff together. So every Friday, it used to be a bash in prefabs room 3, upper room 2. And I would be exiled because I'm not
Drinking.
I'm not drinking, I'm not smoking, I am not doing girls. So there we are. So what I'd do, I'd go spend my times at the movie room. So I'd binge watch the whole night
Interesting.
and then come sleep when they've finished their bash, or they've taken their bash into the clubs now. Yeah, that's when I'll come back to the room.
What are you noticing about yourself? Because this is you intentionally saying, I don't like that, I won't hang out with that. What are you noticing about yourself in comparison to everyone else? And what are you also appreciating about everyone else around you? Because now Campo is everyone from everywhere with all sorts of backgrounds. What stands out for you?
For me, it's the differences, that we are all different. And our differences are not necessarily a bad thing. It might be wrong choices and wrong decisions, but we're all different. We come from different backgrounds. We come from different religions. We come from different. We carry different baggages from our backgrounds, and so we are meeting at sort of an equalizer, so to speak. In this space, we all have the same time, the same opportunities, probably not the same resources, but here we are. So the first thing I learn is the differences that we have that are there in the world. You see, I'm coming from a space where it was my parents, it was me, it was my siblings, it was that community that was around me. Now I'm coming to a space where that community has grown exponentially. There's so many different people from so many different backgrounds, so many different differences that were all together in the same space. Now, there are artists, there are scientists, there are different people doing different things.
And everything in between.
And everything in between there. So we are all here. There are politicians, all that. And so that's one thing that I begin to appreciate about life, is that we are not the same. We will not believe the same. We will not look at life the same. So there needs to be room for all of us. And how can we coexist?
Roses and lilies.
Exactly. So,
okay. Is there anything that you'd change from your campus experience? Is there anything that you'd maybe think of doing differently? Or
I think I would not restrict myself too much. I know I had a lot of fun, but there are places I didn't push the boundaries a lot more.
You're scared to explore?
Yes.
I was a bit scared because I would want to do something, then I would hear my father's voice.
That is literally the question I wanted to ask. I would
Your father
in
hear
the background.
my father's voice and I would not do it. simply because not because I don't want to, but because I'm like, if my father was right here right now, this one would be ingekuwa Kosovo reloaded. So I would not do it. So that's one thing I would change. I'll be more free. I would enjoy life a lot more. The second thing that I would have done different, I probably would have dated more. I would have dated more because then it would have opened my mind a bit more than it did then. I'm okay with how it happened, but that's one of the things that I think probably I could have done that differently. Yeah.
Interesting. Meaning you didn't meet Edith.
No.
In Campo.
No. Oh,
your
Campo's
wife
character
comes in much
development.
later.
Yo.
Yeah.
Campo's character development.
Even within Mususu.
Especially in Susu.
No, I did, though I'm the one who did the character development in Campo.
Yeah.
I must appreciate. So I dated this chick from second year into third year. And so we dated those 2 years almost towards fourth year. But then I'm like, I don't think we are going the same direction. And I don't think we have the same interests, the same life. My life and your life are sort of...
We're not equally yoked.
Yes. So I was like, okay, fine. Let's just end this.
Sijali, equally yoked is a trigger for this guy. Sema tu equally yoked. Nimefanya. Exactly. But keep going.
Yeah, so that didn't work. So but we're coming to fourth year. We're finishing Campo, and then I meet this amazing chick. Awesome. And I'm like, you know what? I'd really love to date this chick, but I don't want her to feel that I'm desperate. I'm leaving Campo. I don't have a chick. So that is why I'm asking her out. So I'm like, you know what? Let's stay in touch. Let's keep talking. I didn't declare intentions. I'm like, it's fine. So she's pursuing engineering. And so we're finishing. She's a year behind. So she has to go into the fourth year and fifth year. So I wait for 2 years without ever declaring any intentions whatsoever. The moment I declared intentions, it went south so bad. It broke me. I'd said, you know what, I'm not dating anymore. I'm done. This gender, I don't want. I'm good. I don't want. So because it really broke me. For like 5 years, I didn't even date after that. Yeah.
And you waiting for this 2 years to
2
declare
years.
is you're
Yes.
already out of Campo. You're
I'm
waiting
out of
for her
Campo.
to
I'm waiting
finish
for
her,
her to finish. So I'm like, okay, fine. So all this friendship, this is where it was going. Yeah, and they're like, it didn't work. So it broke me really bad. So I didn't date for like 5 years, and then later on I'd meet my wife.
Okay. Okay, we'll jump into into that bit of a story.
Yeah.
At least for one last question around the campus season.
Yeah.
Are there pockets besides the times uko exile?
Yeah.
And now watch the movies and all. Are there times when, in retrospect, your future is hinting of, unajua, something in filmmaking? Because say books going out, but are there like seeds of you'll be a filmmaker someday in there?
Yeah. So I hear there's this school in campus now. I hear there's this cool school that is teaching guys animation, Shangtao. And I'm like, hey, I want to try it out. So I go and enroll for a certificate in 3D animation and whatnot. Since I'm pursuing design, let me start going into now exactly what I want to do now, creating for TV and film. So I go there. I do that course, but then I do a diploma in 3D animation and motion graphics.
And it was very proximal because it was right.
Yes,
by
it was
you.
just right there. It was there actually. Yeah, and I used to do the evening classes. So that is the first time I make a step into what I want to do as a career. But then hindsight also, now back to your question, hindsight, I probably would have done KNT more in terms of even just going hanging out there and meeting all these great, amazing
National Theatre.
Kenya National
yes,
Theatre.
yes, all these thespians and whatnot. I would have done that a bit more then. That is one major. If there's any regret I have, is that one. I didn't do that a bit.
Should
more.
have dipped your toes into
Yes,
the
a
artistic
lot into the
spaces.
artistic space to just begin absorbing and getting into that art space. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had a terrible joke. My word of the week is takotsubo cardiomyopathy. Did you suffer that?
What is that?
Heartbreak. It's what I hate to bring this in, but I saw it yesterday. That's what Rigathi suffered from. A broken heart. Apparently it's a thing. Heartbreak can bring
In
can
campus, not really.
Okay. After the 2 years.
That the 2 years.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
that was the major. Oy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you leave uni.
Yes.
So you graduate with a degree in design,
Graphics design, yes.
graphics design.
Yes.
You have your diploma in 3D animation.
Yeah.
What's the next step? Did you even do an internship before, or
So
what's your
we did an
entry into the
exchange
professional world?
program.
Yeah.
We did an exchange program. Sorry for cutting. We did an exchange program, I think, in third year and fourth year. Third year, we did an exchange program with some university in Sweden. So we went to Kisumu and we were there for a whole month studying culture, because we're doing something in the sustainable development space, how design and integrates into that. And we were there for I think a month or so. So we did a lot of interacting with a slum called Obunga in Kisumu. And so creating a solution using our profession that will contribute into sustainable development. So that is the sort of an internship. And then I think in third year or fourth year, we did another one at Waithaka. So we were there for I think a month also. So those were the internships that I would consider I did. But now when we finish, because I finished my exams around July of 2007. So July 2007, one of the lecturers calls me and says, "Hey, there's a friend of mine who's looking for a graphics design. I want to send you there." So I go meet this dude somewhere in Upper Hill, geospatial building down there, and I get a job. So finish exams into
Immediately.
work. Yeah.
That was a lot of luck.
That's a lot.
Kabisa by the way, kabisa.
Yeah.
So I go in, start work. 3 months later, Nation Media looking for a temp designer. I go do an interview and get into Nation Media. So I did graphic design for Business Daily for a whole year.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was I was young and stupid, but yeah. So but I worked there for a whole year.
For a whole year.
Yes.
Do you, in terms of your personal life on this other side,
Yes.
of course they're moving hand in hand.
Yeah.
Where do you move to?
So immediately after campus with a friend of mine, we moved. We were looking for a house, so we wanted a very low budget house.
Of course.
So we begin to tour Nairobi, trying to look for spaces. We are told, hey, there's the low housing in Kangemi. We go to Kangemi, tunatafuta zile tunapata. Yes, they are within budget, but we look at the environment. We're like,
Ama wacha tu.
ama ni sawa tu. So we didn't. So eventually we decided, okay, fine. Since we are about to finish and get out of school and we still don't have a place, his brother used to stay in Ngara. So we decided, okay, let's talk to your brother. We can chip in, but stay with him. He was in this bed sitter, and so we would take the mattress on the floor and he would do his bed. So that's where we stayed immediately after for I think about a month or two. And then we got a single room in Ngara. So that is where life begins. Yes, so I was in Ngara for all that time, I think around from 2007 until about 2012.
It's quite a while.
Hey.
It's quite a while.
But not in the same house.
So no, in the same plot.
In the same plot, okay.
Yes,
So we just kept
same plot.
upgrading. Yeah?
Yes. No. So there was this single room where the bed was from wall to wall in terms of wall to wall, and then when you open the door, you have to open and enter
a design.
a design
Yeah.
because there's not too much room, and then upgraded to a bigger single room where at least there was room for a seat, like that. So that is where until now, 2012, when I now moved to Wayakiwe.
Yeah. Okay.
Look at that.
What was your what was your experience at Nation Media? Now, this is your first time in a professional setting. Yeah.
And even after Nation Media, you could walk us through the next and the next,
okay.
because
Okay.
you go freelance in 2015, thereabout.
Yes.
Yeah,
Around
so-
2050. Yes.
So there's
yes,
a good
yes.
chunk
Yeah.
of like you just being fully in employment.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how is that season for you?
So I
from
joined Nation
NMG?
Media.
Yeah.
And then I realized that, you know what? I know nothing about graphics design. Back to uni, computers were a rare thing. So even logos and posters, we designed using pencil, ruler, a paintbrush.
Oh, wow.
Yes, that is how we did. So around third, I think fourth year is when we started going to the computer lab, and you have limited time because there are few computers and there are all these students who have to use the computer lab. Luckily enough, I think around second term or fourth year, I got a personal PC, and that helped a bit. But so I know a bit about Photoshop, so all these Creative Suite design software, I don't know much about. So I go to Nation Media and I have to use InDesign. I have never even opened InDesign in my life. So I'm there. Lucky enough, I met my boss, one of the bosses called Conrad. Cool guy. He took me step by step. This is the user interface. These are the tools. This is how they apply. This is how you can go about it. And that is how I begin to learn now computer-aided design softwares. So I learned Illustrator, I learned InDesign, Photoshop, and whatnot. So I'm there. Did that for a whole year, learned how to do posters, learned how to do ads in the paper, layout, did all that, in placing photo images, illustrations, and whatnot. So by the time we were leaving, about a year later, at least I'd mastered InDesign and Illustrator.
Yeah.
Those are the two that I really, really got to work with closely.
Yeah. Did you leave out of your own volition or?
No, that's why I said that was a statement. I was young and stupid. So I join in and it's a temporary position. So I'm a temp because I went in to relieve somebody who had gone for maternity. And then when they came back, they decided, you know what, since we have a bit of work, let's keep these guys on, because it was myself and another dude. So let's keep them on for a bit longer. But then I'm like, 6 months have gone and these guys are not giving us a job. And I'm like, you know what, I begin to make noise. And they're like, okay, fine. We were trying to help you guys to stay a bit longer. But since you're making noise, then
Goodbye.
kwaheri. So me, I'm kwaheri. The other one remains. So after a year, that's in October. I'm
This
told,
one was the louder one.
This is the louder one. Aende ataharibu hao wengine. So I'm told kwaheri. So I'm out. The contract is not renewed. So I'm out. That's I think October of 2008. I'm without a job until around March of 2009. So that March of 2009, I hear there's an organization called Midiva. And Midiva, in the church where we were, I was in the media department, and some of those big people in that media department used to work for Midiva.
Yeah.
And so I apply for the training. So luckily I get shortlisted and get called, and we go through the training. So after the month of training, I'm among those guys who are retained. And so we work on projects there. That's where now I work for 5 years, since from 2009 all the way until I think to 2013.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm there until 2013.
What are you doing there?
So I'm producer, director. But largely what I was doing is panel producing for a show called Agenda Kenya.
That's a dope show.
Agenda
Yeah.
Kenya,
Yeah, so that is what I was doing, panel production. That panel producing is is heartache in steroids. Hey, because you would get all these politicians and call them for the show, and on the day the other guests have arrived, and you get a call like, hey, I've been called to State House, I've been to do what, I won't make it for the show. But the show must go on. So it is my responsibility to ensure that I get somebody else. So that is what I did for about five seasons. Yeah, 5 seasons of panel producing and research. One experience that really, 2 experiences. One, it's political season, campaigns are ongoing, and then so we are doing we organized a presidential debate, and we tried to get all these candidates. Nobody was willing to come, so but luckily Martha Karua agrees to come, and the now president Ruto.
This is the run up to the 2013.
This is no. This is the other one. What
2017?
2000 and it's 2013. No, 2013 is when Uhuru wins.
And Ruto, yeah.
No. It's not that one. The other one, the before that one.
Okay.
Yes. So before the elections before that one. So Ruto and Martha agreed to come and debate. But on the day when they come and they meet that it's the 2 of them who are going to debate, Martha Karua decides, you know what? I'm not going to debate this dude. Walks out. The show must continue. So we tried to get somebody else. We couldn't. Since the discussion of the direction of the discussion was very specific, we decided, okay, fine, we'll just go with one guest. There's no, so we do a show with one guest, Ruto. The one I was saying earlier that you play a clip and he's like, that's not me. But yeah, so we did that show. The other one was during the Mau evictions. So we decide, we're going to constitute a panel, and we invite Isaac Ruto, we invite Olentimama, and we invite some political analysts. So we are there. Isaac Ruto arrives, the political analysts arrive, Ntimama walks in. So this is the VIP holding space. Ntimama comes, walks in, and sees Isaac Ruto, turns and walks out. And we are there. I literally was begging him, please don't go. At that time, we're filming from the film studios. So there's a VIP room. So he walks out and goes to the parking, and he's like, I am not debating Isaac Ruto. I am not. Literally walks out and gets into his Land Rover and zooms out. So we quickly had to get somebody else who's in the opposition camp, because there we are, but luckily we got. So that experience hardened me, gave me sort of a thick skin for what I would experience later in the industry. Because without that, I don't know, I probably would have hung my production boots a long time ago. So I did that for 5 years, and then got an opportunity to go to Radio Africa Kiss TV, where I was there for just 6 months, and then went to a media NGO called Ungwana. I worked there for a bit, setting up their media unit, 6 months as well, left. Now that's when I joined freelance. So I did freelance for quite a bit, for that was about 2014, towards the end into 2015, all the way to around 2016, June, July. Yeah, so 2016, June, July, freelance has really taken a toll on me. I'm not making as much money. I am dying. I decide I'm going back to employment. So I get a gig with DocuBox. I'm there for about 3 months. Then I'm called to Royal Media. I'm told there's a role here and we want you now as a producer. So I go, I take it. That's when they were setting up Viusasa and they needed producers and directors. So I go in as a producer and a director for those short clips and shows that they do for Viusasa. Yeah, so that's where I was until 2019. 2018, the end, 2019, I joined Metropole TV as a production manager. and did a bit of news anchoring, and yeah. So that is
Producing
my.
for, or you actually?
I was production manager.
Okay.
And I was then after a while, I became a news anchor as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of
Gifted
anacheka.
man.
One of anacheka. Ni kama niamini. Yeah, so I was a news anchor for Metropole TV for a bit as well. Yeah, so I was there since 2019 until 2022.
Look at that. Look at that. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So that is my
What a story.
employment.
There are all these pockets who could just, unajua, like every one of these moments, tunaweza simama tuende. But I'll ask two main questions, sort of related.
Yep.
The first one is, Kiss TV was ahead of its time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And this is my biased opinion
Yes.
in form of a question.
Yes.
What went wrong? Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
And the second bit is the Viusasa idea is almost slightly ahead of its time, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, and this is one of the reasons Royal Media sort of is still here as compared to the other giants.
Yep.
So what do you feel they saw earlier?
Yeah.
Ama, what departments do you think were visionary enough to go,
Yeah.
okay, maybe this is how we shift and survive the future?
So,
Yeah.
beginning with Kiss TV, I really think it's just that the Patrick Wako is a genius. Is a business. His business acumen is top notch. He's really a good leader, and he knows what he wants, especially in the radio space.
He's another Chris Kirobi.
Yes, he's amazing. Patrick Wako is amazing. But when it came to TV, because I don't think there's something else called Bamba that they tried. I don't know whether it's still there. They tried it, but I think they folded, but I'm not sure. But TV is a different ball game altogether. It is totally different from radio. Because here in radio, this is my opinion and very biased. In radio, it is not as hard to convince people to listen in as it is for TV. TV, you have to literally sit down,
Stop everything else.
what you're doing, and follow what is happening. But for radio, I can switch it on here and listen as I'm doing whatever I'm doing. Either I'm in the shamba plowing, or I'm in the matatu going, or I'm in the car driving, or whatever it is that I'm doing, the radio can be playing in the background. And then over time, I get to hear, oh, there's something very interesting, and that hooks me, and I become a loyal follower. But for TV, you have to convince me that this is for you. Please, at this particular time, between this time and that time, stop what you're doing, sit down, follow. So to be able to create that, it takes a lot. That's an experience I had at Metropole and Kiss TV at the same time. I saw the same happening, is that now being able to create and convince people that what we've created is for you and you need to rally behind this is something that I think is people have not hacked, especially in that space. Especially if you're coming from the experience of radio and coming into TV, you think that automatically, because we are playing music in radio that you're really enjoying, so it will automatically do the same thing on TV. TV is totally different.
Yeah.
And that is what I felt that for Kiss TV, it stopped. Yeah. That's what didn't work for them.
Yeah.
Now, when we come to Viusasa, I keep telling people that if they had gone the direction that they had begun, there's no platform right now that would be competing with them.
Yeah, they were way ahead of their time.
Way ahead of their time.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it lacked the political goodwill within Royal Media to keep going.
Interesting.
That is, in my opinion, I may be wrong, but that is what I felt. That there was no political goodwill for it to keep going.
Yeah.
Because there's such a genius mind that was George Waititu, and another lady, I forget her name. We used to call her Shosh Viv. She's a Briton. Those two had
Is this George Waititu, the
yes.
former Synovate CEO?
yes, the one with Tafaria.
Tafaria.
Yes, that one. So those are
That would be a solid guest as well. Sorry, yeah, I need to talk to him and hear this story.
you need to, but you need to.
Yeah.
His mind, the way he thinks, I would sit and listen, and I was like, if only you would just get the support that you need for this would be so far.
Yeah.
That is where I feel. Then we had also I know you know Seth Busolo. Yes, Seth Busolo was now one of the content aggregators in the space. I don't think he's there anymore. That point, we had amazing ideas and the execution was great. So we were doing these series in vernacular and they were amazing. And the consumption was like this.
I can only imagine.
I don't know where. Anyway, let me not go into that.
Yeah.
Because it's a sore wound. But I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah.
It was
But
good.
it should have worked better.
It should have worked better. It should have given the political goodwill that it desired. And it should have gotten the support. Right now, Royal Media would be...
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go to another tangent, which is
Yes.
all along we hear you continuously reinventing yourself to the point where you're anchoring news now.
Yeah.
Right. Going from a graphic designer, etc.
Yes.
What was the driver or the motivation for you to continuously do new things? Was it just the money or the industry changing, or did you have an innate drive to keep going for the next thing and rebuilding yourself?
So
Reinventing yourself.
When I see problems, I want to find solutions to problems. How I became an anchor is we're in the space and we are desperately in need of people to anchor news, but we don't have the budgets to hire people to do news. So I'm like, okay, fine. Within the team, who do we have? Because we had two anchors who were already doing the news and one presenter who now we would train later to also anchor. Then I was like, you know what? Within the team, we're just going to get people who are able to read news and present shows and so that we can double within the resources that we already have. That is how I moved from behind the screen into in front of the screen. But trying to find new solutions to problems that I'm facing is what has made me evolve and become different things in different spaces to achieve that. Others is because doors were closed. I knocked on doors and they were closed on my face. And I said, okay, fine. I'm going this way, but I'm coming back to buy this building. Give it time. So what do I need to do so that I can come back and buy this building that slammed the door on my face? That's the drive. That is what keeps me going. I have died many times, but I've kept going. So to respond to your question, it is that thing that has kept me going is finding innovative ways of figuring out things that otherwise they would be left unsolved. Yeah.
Okay.
In all these different organizations, all very impressive, from Medeva to DocuBox to NMG, Royal Media, to you establishing your own company, what lessons are you picking in terms, one, leadership, and two, vision bearing? Because you've seen, without this support, Viusasa hasn't gone as big as it would have. You've seen, because of 1, 2, 3, 4 things, maybe this and that organization didn't work. So what lessons, especially around leadership and vision bearing, are you carrying into Picha Safi?
One thing that I have learned for along the way is that as a leader, you must listen. And not just listen to pass time, but listen to take action. That's one thing that I've seen fail a lot of, especially our media spaces. We have leaders in place, and there are brilliant ideas that especially the young generation is bringing on board onto the table, but the leaders are too slow to act on them or too insecure to make radical changes.
Or even dismissive because of...
Exactly.
Oh,
They're
you
like, you
thought
know
of-
what? We've been here before. We've seen it happen and work very well like this. What are you trying to tell us? So one lesson I've learned as a leader, you must be able to listen and listen to understand and take what you've had and understood and figure out what will work in this context now, later, and then apply strategically. The other thing that I've learned is, as a leader, you would go very fast alone, but you would die quickly. You would go very fast, but then you plateau and you will not go anywhere else. But if you go with people, you would go further. You would keep going, because when you're tired, there will be people who would be motivating you to keep going. So what I've learned is, I need people. I cannot do this alone. I need people. Even beyond me, I want people to keep going, because they've bought the vision, they've understood the vision, and they're vested in the vision, in the success of the vision. So that is what I've endeavored to do. Wherever I go, I've learned that I need key people who I can call on to, and I say, Kenyaje, I've hit a snag here. What can we do? And I've also learned that I need to, the other lesson is delegate. Because utakufa mse. You will die.
Spread yourself thin.
Yes. Delegate. Find people you can trust and people who believe in the direction that you're going, and allow them to take some of the things off your plate. It is the hardest thing to do for creators, but it is something that we must do.
A bit tactical. What are some of the things that, and I know we're now getting to the Picha Safi conversation, what are some of the things tactically that you find very easy and sort of have exponential benefit when you delegate?
So like now, marketing, publicity, business development, I am pathetic. I am hopeless. As in, I am such a hopeless in that space. So the many times I've tried to push that on my own, I've gotten somewhere, but I know I could have gotten better. So I've done those. I've let go. The other thing about my personality is that I hoard things, yes, but when I decide that I am letting this go, I'm handing over this, I hand it over completely. You will not find me hovering there and saying, okay, fine, what have you done it now? Okay, so have you gone this way? No, I will not be there. It's you would come back and tell me, okay, fine, now we've made this step. What do you think about the next step? So when I delegate completely.
And then you're left with the things that you're actually good at.
So now I'm left with the things that I can handle and I'm good at. So those ones now I handle them by myself. So that's what I would do. I take time to decide that now this I'm handing over to you, but when I do, handle it.
This feels like a busy being born struggle.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Handling marketing and all. Can we just do the cool stuff?
Business development.
How do you get the right people for these things?
Okay, so first of all, it's values. So we've got to agree on the set of values that we both share. If for example, let me talk about, like, say, kickbacks, for example. If I'm the guy who would say that I don't take kickbacks to get jobs, and then you are the guy who says that it is okay, we need a job, whatever it takes, let's get the job. So the two of us will clash all the time, because we would go get a contract and then we ask for a kickback before the contract is signed. And me, I'm like, no, we can't do that. And you are saying that, what is the problem? We are broke. We need the money. You see, now that will be a friction between us. But if both of us are like, you know what, let's take the kickback. then it's easy.
There's value alignment.
Yes, we have value alignment. We can work together. So value alignment is very crucial for me in getting the right people. Second is, are you, where is your heart at when you're doing this? Is it a passion thing? Is it a pastime as you wait for the next big thing? What is it that you're doing in this space with this particular thing? Like if I called you today and I told you, hey, by then I'm desperate, so you edit kitu. Would you tell me, no, would you start editing and then he calls you and says, you know what, I have this edit that I need you to do for me, and because he has more money than I do, you drop what you are doing for me and you go start editing for him? So, I mean, where is your heart at? That is something very big for me. Yeah, if you commit that you'll do this, whether it's big budget, low budget, no budget, you do it and you complete.
Yeah. And then how do you profile for that? How do you filter for that, or do you have to get burnt a couple of times?
Oh yeah. There's no foolproof way of getting the right people. I mean, when we're having conversation, we could have great, amazing conversation in terms of, okay, fine, hey, me, I'm passionate about this. In fact, kwanza, when we come to brainstorming and writing these ideas, we will not leave that space until we have a solid concept.
Mi kwanza nikiget job ingine sitachukua.
Hata sitachukua. I mean, wewe ukinipatia job azimi nitafanya mpaka nimalize ndio nikupatie, and then your job ingine hata naweza peana. As in, those kind of conversation we would have at the conversation level. But when the rubber meets the road, and here we are, mimi ninakuambia mazee tufanye hii kitu, tuuze, and then tukilipwa we share. Na wewe hapa hivi umeitwa ukaambiwa, by the way, Showmax imekuja, kuna hii show mpya na tuna need writers, and you'll be needed 4 days a week. Na huku kwingine mimi nakuhitaji sort of a similar duration.
But you committed fast.
But you committed to me fast. That is where now we get to gauge. Would you drop me for Showmax, or would you commit to the end? So we gotten banned. I mean, we've been dropped many times mid-project. Mtu anakuangusha anasema staki. I mean, anakuambia by the hey, napenda sana lakini kuna hii wacha nifanye.
But I suppose you must get better. As you work with more people in terms of the filtering process, right? You know what to look out for. Sim setu anakupatia two story, 1 million, and they sell you all these grandiose ideas, and then end up not.
And I'm sure there's also retention of these people. Unajua, there are some relationships who go, I've had this guy for 5 years.
Exactly.
Still Tusha Joanna. So at some point you're not needing to hire as much, especially for very, very delicate positions. You know? Okay, now that we're still sasa on Picha Safi. Picha Safi starts right before Uingie Royal Media. And you also do a couple of projects during COVID, because that's when I come across your work through, I think, one of your most consistent collaborator, a friend of mine who I deeply love and admire, Wache.
Awesome.
So every time I see her share something, Nico, Wache, Nico Picha Safi. Same guy. So now, reading on you, Nico, I've actually seen a lot of your works. So just speak a bit about you now going into intentionally doing this particular, starting this particular project, to just production, which is the mother project, and it feels, we've had another producer here, Chantel, and one of the words she uses a lot is impact, and it feels Picha Safi is very impact oriented. You've done docus around fatherhood, unajua. You've done the series on marriage, you've done sasa your latest project that we're about to premiere to the world. So when do you decide to start? How is the beginnings of it? And where are you now?
All right. So way back when I lost my job at Nation Media, I started an outfit. We call it Graphic Mix Media. Since I'm a graphics designer, and I didn't want it to just be graphics, so it's graphic mix, so it's everything else, graphics and everything else. We do a bit of work around with graphic mix media, but that was just purely commercial.
Okay. So this is still your gig.
This is still my gig.
Okay.
Graphic Mix Media is still my gig, and work on it a bit. But all along, I knew that I just want to do things that are impactful, things that are changing mindsets, things that are shaping values, that are initiating and inspiring conversation that is positive in the society. That's what I knew for a long time that I really wanted to do. So when it came to around 2018, 19 there, where we start having conversations with Wache on the marriage space. And she's like, so I tell her, I've always wanted to do something on the marriage. And I'm like, so she responds and says that there's a lot that we can do together, but let's keep exploring. So the first time we do a project with Wache was a short film we do during COVID. So there's lockdown.
Okay.
And then I write a very short 5-minute film, and we call it Lockdown, and we do it. So I send Wache the script, and she shoots it and sends me the footage.
Interesting.
And I edit and we package it. It's online on Picha Safi YouTube. And we put it out there. That was the first time we worked together. And then we have conversation like, no, can we start something? So hashtag for Better for Us is born. Hashtag for Better for Us is born. And the model is we have a dramatized beginning that morphs into now the conversation that we have about marriage. So we do the first season, we struggle through it around COVID and into 2021. And then we go into second season, we shoot, but then we tunakwama. So it is on hold, but it's not dead. It's somewhere on hold and coming. So we have all most of the dramas for season 2, but the conversations, we've not filmed them yet. So we still keep conversations going. In 2008, we film. In 2018, we film the second short film called Full Circle. It's Full Cycle. It's also on the platform.
The timing 2018, so tuko post COVID now. 2018.
It's
okay, so pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID.
Okay.
Pre-COVID. We shoot, but we don't release.
Okay.
It is it reminds me some conversation we had before we started that we have content that is in the drive and edited, seated there. So we pack it.
Yeah, you even put out posters.
It's there. It's out. We pack it. It's there.
Yeah.
We didn't edit around that time.
Okay.
In 2019, we shoot for Machakos. Whatever that thing for Machafest, yes.
Machawood.
Machawood, yes. Machawood, yes, that's what I'm looking for. So we enter the project. We work together with Senjen, Mwix, and we shoot.
This is where you're meeting all these people.
Yes, so that's how we begin to meet all these people. So in Mwix, we shoot called Rock Solid. It's also on Picha Safi, and we enter it. Didn't win, but we did, and then. So that was the second shot that we did. The second. Yes, the second. Now the third is the one that now we do with Wache. The lockdown. Yes, lockdown. Then now after lockdown is when hashtag for Better for Us is born. We begin. Then somewhere in 2023, we were doing some training for script writing. And in that, we were having a conversation with some of the ladies there, and the idea Letters to Dad was born. So I just asked myself, okay, if my daughters were to write a letter to me, what would that letter be? What would they say in that letter? That is when our Letters to Dad was born. So in that 2023, gathered a few ladies, we filmed their story, and they wrote a letter to their dad. So Letters to Dad was born, and then this year we did the second installment, and like that. So,
and you do this every Father's.
So every Father's Day we premiere it, and then we screen it a bit, and then we get into the next.
Okay.
Yeah. So Letters to Dad is one of our biggest project annually. So we do it since 2023. Every year we do it, premiere it, and screen. Like this year, we've had quite a bit of screenings. We'll be and a bit more. Like in November, we have about 4 more screenings that we'll be doing Mombasa and in Nairobi, and yeah. So that we want it to grow to beyond the borders. Because we feel like the conversation around fathers is a crucial conversation that is not being spoken about as much.
Yeah.
And so we want to create that conversation and have people talk about fathers.
Should link you up with Mwonge.
Yeah,
Do they know
actually, hata nilikuwa naenda kusema we should do a Busy Being Born one where we collaborate with Letters to Dad and bring on
And
board
Papa Bear.
Pia.
Nice.
Yeah, and Papa Bear.
Let's do
Bear.
it.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
let's
I'm
do
up
it.
for it. Let's do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Let's do
amazing.
it. Yeah.
Because
Let's.
we've spoken a lot about it, but also fatherhood is
Yeah.
really, really
Quite important.
Yeah, because
important
it's
to me
something
as
that
well.
is close. Family is close to my heart, especially fatherhood. Yeah, because fathers play a very crucial role as far as the family turnout is going to be.
Yeah.
So they determine a lot, whether present or absent.
Yeah.
They leave an impact.
They have there's an
Yeah.
effect.
Yeah.
I know the next segment tutaenda itakuwa probably about the next project.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
right when we are there, how's your relationship with your father?
So my relationship with my father wasn't very good at the beginning.
Okay.
But I'm so happy that now we have solid conversations. We share a lot.
Was there a
the other
season of
day-
shift?
It was gradual.
Okay.
It was sort of a slow fade. There was nothing that I'd say this was the tipping point.
Yeah.
It was just a gradual shift, and just me realizing that, this is my father, and he's the only one I got.
Yeah.
So that changed the other day. About a couple of weeks, it's months, or it's barely a month or two ago, he came to visit, and we had a whole day with him, going to he studied at Pan-African Christian University, then it was college. We went there 40 years later. Yeah, we went there.
It's that old.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Park is so old. It was a
Ile
college.
park, ile Roysambo.
Ile yako hapo Roysambu ile
Yeah.
is the same one.
Look at that.
So we went there, and there we are, and he's taking me around, and we're just taking a tour, and he's telling me, hey, when we were here, that was the chapel, and that part was not built. It was just going down the memory lane and just sharing that part of his history
dope.
with
Just the two of you.
Just the two of us, me and him, then got into the kind of like, this place was so bushy. I remember Michuki had a hotel, the Windsor, had a hotel, and then I'm like, then we just drive there, go into the Windsor hotel and just walk around the hotel. And he's like, yeah, we used to walk from Park and all this place, and we'd come and we'd see this one. And then then we're just having this conversation. It's like, and then there's a time they came to Brackenhurst, and then we drive all the way to Brackenhurst, and then we just spend time there at Brackenhurst, and just walking around. That was such a moment of bonding that I felt so cool. It was just so. Right now,
Yeah.
we have such a good relationship with my dad,
good. Yeah.
and I'm grateful for that.
That's what's up. That's what's
yeah,
up. Maze
yeah.
umefanya hata kamande aguzwe.
Yeah.
Uko tu, oh, man.
That's amazing. I think this is a very good time
Yeah.
for us to plug in the sponsor of our episode today.
Go for it,
Go for it.
Yeah.
Today's episode is brought to you, dear listeners and dear viewers, by Funky Science. You have to pay the bills a bit. Funky Science is an edtech company that improves science education in Africa by providing approved, localized science content for children. Content.
Content.
It's a bit statistic. Where the company aims to make learning fun, spark curiosity, and nurture creativity. And through their hands-on activities, online tools, and creative experiments, and science kits, they help kids become better at problem solving. The goal is to create a new generation of young scientists who can shape Africa's future. Learn more about their mission at www.funkyscience.co.ke.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up. We love funky science. We love this
Friends,
guy.
Is it because they're giving you the money?
They're friends or no?
A couple of reasons. A couple of reasons.
We are very vested in their success.
Quite.
Good.
Very invested in their
That's
success.
good. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
So
yeah.
I'd really love for us to go into the fatherhood tangent, but like we said,
Yeah.
that gives us an opportunity to collaborate together on something in
Awesome.
the future.
Awesome.
So we could always just
Put a pin.
there.
A pin.
We shall revisit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
Yeah. Then at this point, we've
Yeah.
built enough momentum
Yeah.
to sort of announce what's next for Picha Safi.
Yeah.
And this is happening pretty soon.
Yes.
Yeah, and now especially because we are now about to wrap up the episode. Nico, now let's put all the energy on this.
Yeah.
So you've been preparing mmekuwa kitchen.
Umekuwa kijikoni.
Mkichonga kuchonga. And something is coming up.
Yeah.
And this podcast will be out before then.
Yes.
So tell us a bit about 541.
Yeah.
541 project.
So 541 project is basically, as the name suggests, it's
Yeah.
5 films for 1 ticket.
Wow.
So we, it's an idea I had for the longest. I went for a premiere of a friend of mine. I won't mention the name. So I went to this premiere. They done this amazing film.
Yeah.
So me, I'm going to the premiere thinking it's a feature. Kumbe it was a short film. But I didn't know.
Nimeanza kufikiria ni nani huyu?
I didn't know.
Grace, unajua ni nani? I'm trying to think.
So to me enjoy, it's
I
beautiful
know.
visuals.
I know who it
everything.
is. I even wrote on it.
Oh, you did?
I did. Okay, keep going. New
So
chocos.
we are there, and we then we're really enjoying the film. It's there, it's going, and then credits. We're like, okay, fine, we go to our, and we're like, wait, what just happened? Well, I didn't feel very nice about it.
Yeah.
I've told him as much.
Why are you afraid of mentioning? Nimestea tu, acha
Ni
leo.
sawa tu. So I
Nimestea tu.
even told him,
Yeah.
actually. So then from there, I thought, okay, fine. I love short films.
Yeah.
I really love short films because you have a short time
Yeah.
to say a lot. And so it sends your mind thinking.
Yeah.
You don't have to, send a drone for 3 minutes
Yeah.
to transition into the next scene. You just, it's pa
Yeah,
in
yeah,
and
we're
out.
done.
You're done.
Yeah.
So I love them.
Wait, wacha tu shout out. Should I?
Shout out,
Hey,
Mercy.
big up Peter Kawa, bana. Because vile unai describe, Nico, I think I know what you're talking about. Shout out Peter Kawa.
Yeah.
Go check out Christmas Love
Oh,
on
yes.
Netflix. Angalia credits, utaniona mahali.
Uko
But keep
mahali.
going, yes.
Awesome.
And
Nice.
also a guest on episodes.
He's sikumbuki ni episode gani.
Yeah.
But check out.
Alikuja mahali.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Peter Kawa episode, really dope episode.
Yeah, Peter Kawa is a cool dude.
So
Amazing.
he inspired.
So that
that
inspired a
experience.
moment.
Yeah.
Yes, and I thought, okay, fine. I'd like to do short films and screen them on big screen, but I don't want to serve people one. Cause inakuanga ni kama njugu au kulangi kamoja unatosheka. Unaokotanga tu kamoja unasikia kama nini unachukua kapili.
Yeah.
like that. So that is how the 541 was born. Okay. So we decided I'm going to do 5 short films and then premiere those on one night. And that was how it was born. So scripts zilikuwa, we had written some of those scripts from kitambo. Okay. So I went to my archives and okay, what are some of these scripts that I have, and then what would work for my debut 541, and picked 5 out of those. And then now I said, okay, fine. Remember I said you need a team. So I said, okay, fine. Who do I want to work with? Yeah. So I remember a friend of mine is called Rispa Njoki. I don't know that you know her. So I tell her, okay, fine, Ebu, there's some scripts I have. Ebu, go through them. We need to rewrite them and add juice to them so that we can make them production ready. So she's like, let's do it. Then I'm like, okay, fine, I need a producer. So, okay, fine. There are many producers, but who can we gel and work with without trouble? Then I'm like, okay, Wache, I know you act. I know you do stuff for voice and whatnot, but I've not seen you produce. How about you? Let me throw you into the deep end. Let's try.
So Wacha is producing.
Wacha is the producer for 541.
Hey.
Yes. So I throw that ball at her. She tries to carve it. And many times dodge it. She refuses. But I'm like, nobody else is producing. You are the producer of this particular project. Needless to say, she's died many deaths trying to produce this particular project, but she's the one who worked on the as a producer for this project. So then I didn't want also to just have the same feel and look of the 5, so I'm like, okay, I need a co-director, somebody else who would help me direct these shots. So I think through and I'm like, okay, fine. As I'm having a conversation, I don't know whether you know Jay Marbaga. Okay, so another cool friend of mine. So we're having a conversation because I was thinking of her to co-produce because she's done a bit of stuff, and her thinking is
sharp.
crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but then as we're having a conversation, she's like, I'm very busy, but I know somebody who's always wanted to debut into directing. Senjen. So Senjen, of course you know Senjen.
Yeah.
So Senjen, I'm like, okay, fine, I'm cool. I've been denied opportunities several times. I am not going to do that. So I tell Senjen, you know what? Come, let's assist me to direct. So he directs 2, I direct 3. So we have sort of a team. Now we start thinking, okay, who are we bringing on board in terms of the different, because we have a list of preferred cast and people that we want to work with to tell these stories. One of the film is called Unborn. So on Unborn, I knew for sure that I want to work with Joyce. So I speak with
Shout
Joyce.
out Joyce Musoke.
Musoke, look at
yes,
that.
yes. For a fact, I knew it's Joyce.
Yeah.
This is the one that I'm going to work with on this particular one. So I call her up and I'm like, yeah, there's this project I'm working on and this particular story that I want you to help me deliver. So Joyce is on board. That it's a 2-character story. So Joyce and her husband in the film. So I'm looking for the husband. So we're thinking through possible names, including Senjen himself as a potential actor in that particular Unborn. But then it hits us, why not try Joe Njorowauba?
It's a very small one. All these people have been on the podcast, right?
Interesting. So we're like, Senjen speaks to because they're very good buddies, speaks to him and we're like, why not? Let's do it. So we have Unborn locked and tied. So it's there. Second film we have is Indelible. Indelible, we have 2 mains as well and 2 supporting. So the 2 main, I'm thinking the people that I want to work with is Justin Mirichi and Sibyl. You know Sibyl?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so these 2. So I speak to Sibyl. At that point, I think she was in Uganda or somewhere else. So we agree, and she's like, I'm game. We speak to Mirichi, he's game. And then we get the 2 supporting, Kendi and Sharon. Sharon, yes. So there are 4. Locked. The 3rd film is I'm Sorry, Mommy. Now, I'm Sorry, Mommy is one of the films that gave us grief in terms of casting. All the people, I'm not going to mention them, that we wanted to cast are not available. Something is happening. They can't be there. And so we really struggled a lot in getting the right fit for that particular film. And eventually, somehow, by God's providence, we learned Wakio. Wakio is like, you know what? It's fine. I'll do it. And then Mix, of course, we've worked with her before and she knows my style and she's on board. Then we get Kyle and we get Mregs and a few extras. So the film is locked.
Look at that. Shout
Then
out
we-
Regs.
Yeah. Then the fourth film is Wrong Number. Now this is the only, all these others are emotional and whatnot. Wrong Number is sort of a comedy-ish of the five.
So you go for comedic actors.
So we wanted a comedic, somebody who would deliver comedy.
Yeah.
It's not slapstick, but it's So we like, no, the person that we want here is Benteke. That is the guy that we want for this particular film. Ni yeye, hakuna mtu mwingine. Kama hataki tutamwendea penye yuko. Luckily enough, I gave him a call and he's like, oh yeah, cool, let's do
Benteke,
this.
the football player.
No.
Yes,
Benteke.
the football
Oh.
prep. Yeah, actually that is where it came from. If you didn't know,
I didn't know
yes,
this.
that is where it came from.
Oh, wait, were you
It's a
joking?
nickname.
Am you serious?
No, there's Benteke.
I was
footballer.
joking, but you know, when you look up Benteke,
Benteke is a
It's the
footballer,
name.
actually. Yeah. So that is actually where the name comes from.
I have always
footballer.
thought
What's
his
because he's
name?
Ojua.
Yeah, Ojua. Yes.
Sindio?
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
Ojua.
Yes.
So I've always thought Teke is
Yeah.
also his name. Kumbe it's a nickname.
It's a stage name. I think
What's
it's
his
the
other
name that
name?
is picked, yeah?
what's his other name?
I think
Ben Ojua.
Ben Ojua.
Yes,
Okay.
I think Ben Ojua. Yeah.
Eh.
So he's like, oh cool, let's do it. Wache was is the same film, and then we get others to
locked.
support,
Yeah.
like Dadson. You know Dadson?
Gakenga,
Yes, Gakenga. Yes, so Gakenga comes on board and like, hey, you dude. I'd never met him before.
Yeah, he's a cool kid.
But he's amazing. And then recently we watched Safaricom pops up and I'm like, yo, I know this guy. I even actually shared it and I'm like, when I tell you that we are bringing you good stuff, look at, this is the kind of people that we
Killing it.
have.
That's a dope ad. Right
Yeah,
there.
he's a dope ad. So we finish, that is the fourth film, Locked. And then the fifth now is the mother of Heartache in pre-production and even into production.
Okay.
So we plan, we cast. We get Nick Quach to play the lead. And we have this the one who's supposed to play his wife on set. But then we've done rehearsals together. And on the day, like 3 or so days into the production, they're suddenly not available. Well, now I understand why. Because of the production, it premiered. I understand. But not available. And then we're like, who will fit this role instead of this particular one that has gone? Hussein, Amina comes on and we talk to her and she's like, cool, I'm in. Great. Do a series of rehearsals with them and the other, because there are four. There are four main.
I saw Susan is part of it as well.
Yes. So Susan is another story. So the one was supposed to play what Susan is playing.
She's not Susan. She's Karani. Miss Karani.
Miss
Yeah, sorry.
Karani, yes,
Yeah,
please.
yeah.
Yes, it's Miss Karani. So the one was supposed to play that role. Rehearsals until the last day. We are filming tomorrow. As in, we've locked everything. Tomorrow we are filming.
Yeah.
Midnight. She calls, she's like, I'm unavailable. Midnight. So at midnight is when we, Senjen makes calls, because Senjen is the one who directed that. Makes calls, replaces, and then we are liaising, and there we are. And Susan agrees. And she played marvelously. She delivered the role, yani in an awesome way. So surprise dinner comes into play, and we have all the 5. So we go on location and begin to shoot. Wow. Remember, we're shooting 5 shots. The longest is about 30 minutes. The shortest is about 10 minutes or thereabout. And we have to finish all these scenes in 5 days. Because we don't have budget, it's very limited, and we don't want to keep people too long because you're not paying them as much as you should to warrant you keeping them on set for so long. So we wanted to, as fast as possible, we move on to the next in terms of even equipment. We've leased out equipment. And so we're there on location. Day 1, we've leased for 3 days because that is all the money that we had. So day 1, we go on set. Of course, day 1 challenges. We begin rolling at about 8 or 9 because we were there on 6 at 6 a.m., 8 or 9 thereabouts. we shoot through because we were two locations at State House Road and somewhere in Tilisi. So we finished from State House Road and unit moved to Tilisi. I go to Tilisi and we begin filming. We were wrapping at 3 a.m. People are tired. Nobody's talking to anyone. We just want to go home. The following day, we were supposed to go on set at 7 or thereabout. It was such a roller coaster on set, getting handballs like those ones of casts deciding that they are not available. But by God's grace, on the 5th day, we finished.
Well done.
We finished.
Well done.
Well done.
And we had 5 films. Then something happened. One of the films, I'm sorry, Mommy, half of the film, because it's in 3 locations. So there's one full location, or about 6 or 7 scenes, corrupted footage. I was depressed for about 3 months. It can't open. We tried recovering. We did everything humanly possible to recover that footage. There's nothing. At that point, we don't have money. We have zero. And we couldn't. So we kept it packed. We pushed, mobilized, raised resources. We just finished filming in October.
Oh, so you reshot it.
We went back to reshoot.
Everything, I'm just the loss.
Just the lost scenes. The good thing about that particular location, we didn't have too much continuity.
So you can hack it.
So we could hack it.
Yeah.
So we had Mwix is the only one who had continuity.
Okay.
But we all know Mwix is the same yesterday, today, and forever.
Yeah. Check out Mwikani. What's her other name? Atajita Mwix Mutinda.
Yes,
Mwix with a double
Mutinda.
X.
Yes, Mwix with a double X.
Eish.
Yeah, so we went
You
on
guys.
location, we filmed, and we
Well
finished.
done,
So we are in the process of fine tuning, putting everything together. The trailers are coming out very soon.
Yeah.
And
We've
on
seen the
5th
posters.
of December, we will be out here.
Hey, hebu kwanza to underline up. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard what a struggle it was putting this beautiful work of passion together. Super actors. Umesikia, like each one of
Hey,
them.
I know who Benteke is.
You know Benteke.
Because the go Jua, the guy for Joro Uber.
Yes,
Yeah.
the lawyer guy. He's hilarious.
He's lovely.
He's hilarious.
Yeah.
So listen to this, yeah? Indelible. Justin Mirishi and
Joyce.
Sibyl.
And
Sibyl.
Sibyl Colette, yeah.
Unborn, Joyce Musoke, Joe Kenywa.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Mami, Wakio and Mwix.
Yes.
Surprise dinner, Amina and Kwach.
And Kwach,
Yeah.
Karani.
And you've said there are 4 of them.
Yes.
Wrong number, Teke and Wache. And
Yes.
there's
Yeah,
a bigger
that's
cast
on.
as well.
Oh,
And Gakenga as well.
Gakenga.
So
yeah.
listen, these are superstar actors. Like, I've worked with a good number of them. I vouch for every one of them. Maze. Na mmesikia, maze, these guys went through blood, sweat, tears,
Tears.
depression, resurrection, everything.
Hey, we died and resurrected many times.
Hey,
Amazing. And where can people learn more about this? On your website, which is pichasafi.co.ke.
Yeah, just
Where else?
Picha Safi Productions on our socials, which are Picha Safi Productions KE across. You could also, the tickets are available at madfun.com.
Mad Fun.
The good
Yes.
people at Mad Fun.
The good
Absolutely,
people at
man.
Mad
Well
Fun.
done. Well
Yeah,
done.
yeah,
You've come such a long way.
Oh yes,
From the
oh,
kid
yes.
in Vihiga and Kanga High School
You know.
to a graphics designer.
Refusing to go to school.
refusing to
You
go. And now finally
Yeah.
you're doing the thing that you saw on stage with, what's her name?
Sandy Party.
Sandy Party.
And,
Amazing.
Ron
Ron
Kenoli.
Kenoli.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done. And
Thank
we
you.
are so happy for you. We hope that it's all successful. How are you doing now? After the last couple of months.
Yeah, mentally.
Wow.
This is where we started.
No, I think ask this question on 6th of December.
And the day after.
I will have a good answer. Right now, I'm all over the space. Because it's making sure that the product is complete and together before then, making sure that all of you people are buying the tickets. making sure that we are getting people to support premiere, because the red carpet premiere is not cheap. So I'm in all those spaces. But one thing that I'm grateful for is that God has allowed that we have partners and people who have supported the dream, who have stood by us, Kina Senjen, Kina Wache, and many others, Dominion, and many others. I fail to mention all their names, but they know themselves. They've come alongside us and they've stood with us and supported us, even at those times when we felt like, you know what, let's hang this thing up and
go home.
Twende tukalime. Sisemi kulima ni mbaya, but I mean change. But they've kept pushing us and telling us, you know what, keep going, keep doing, something will give. And that is where we are.
Something has
Keep
given.
giving. So I'm in that space. I'm like, you know, there is hope, there is faith. Hope might be shaken a bit, but hope, my faith still remains that we will get there. Yeah.
As we wrap up,
Yes,
speaking of faith, where are you with God? Are you still? Do you see yourself becoming a pastor like your dad one day?
And mom.
And mom.
I preach through my work. That is how I do preaching. It's through the work that I do. Letters to Dad, 541, and all these things that I do. So I'm not going to be a pastor. I at least on my own volition, I'm not taking myself into theology school.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what I do is I contribute to my faith community through the work that I do. So it's through the creative space, my hashtag for Better for Us, Letters to Dad, 541, and many other productions that we'll be doing. That is what I feel that God has given me to be able to use as a platform to spread positive values, speak to people about things that are beneficial to society and things that they need to watch out for. So I'm not going to be in a pulpit somewhere preaching, but I'll be on a screen somewhere talking about the values.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Speaking of pulpit, I was actually thinking of the big three.
The big three.
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Yeah.
Are you an avid reader? What are you reading now? What have you read for a long time that still, or read a while ago and still you still carry lessons from that book? Or, you know, what book would you gift or recommend to people a lot?
There's a book about Facebook. It's a huge book. It's I think this thick. That is what I'm reading right now. It's about the story of Facebook, basically. One thing that I have picked from that book is what Facebook is about is move fast, break things. I mean, just move. Don't wait for perfection. Don't wait for things to fall in place so that you can make that move. So move fast, break things. Make mistakes quickly and pick yourself up.
Or buy other companies. That's what I was telling you.
Yeah, I mean, just move quick, move as fast as if you can be able to and
Buy
you can
your
afford,
enemies.
buy your enemies out and close shop. Yeah, so but that one of moving fast, you don't have to wait until everything is in place before you
Make
act.
the next step.
Yeah, so that is the book that I really read, and the 7 Habits of a Highly Effective Person. That one, Steve Covey. It's an amazing
It's a timeless book.
It's a timeless book. I always go back to it over and over, because the 7 habits, I keep reminding myself and to be able to, you know, work on them.
Yeah. Second last penultimate question. Penultimate question.
Yeah.
If you're to have dinner
Yes.
with 3 people,
Yes.
at this point in time,
Yeah.
this can change in the future. But at this point in time, if you're to have dinner with 3 people, dead or alive, who would those people be?
The first person would be Mwai Kibaki.
Okay.
Hey.
Yes. Mwai Kibaki would be top on that list. I would want to pick that man's brain and the person that he was as far as economics are concerned. Because I think he was way beyond his time, and he was given an opportunity too late in life. I think if he was a president a bit 10, 15 years earlier. Anyway, Mwai Kibaki is number 1. Number 2 would be Tyler Perry.
So movies.
Movies. Tyler Perry would be number 2. If I would get an opportunity to sit down with Tyler Perry, I would get to understand how he moved from even actually. I was watching Maxine's Baby. I don't know whether anyone has watched Maxine's Baby, and I was a lot of story, and I'm thinking, yo, that is what I am doing. I mean, I'm knocking doors and nobody is opening, and I'm out here trying to, okay, fine, I'm going to come back. And I really Tyler Perry and get to hear him out. The third person I'd really want to sit down with is Wangari Maathai. Her resolve, her passion. I mean, when nobody was supporting you and everybody's against you, she kept the faith. She kept the vision alive. I would really love to. Those three. Yeah.
I love that. Keeping the faith.
Man, and whatever you're doing right now is keeping the faith.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
5-4-1.
Yes.
That's such. You know, it's nuts. Huh?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's great. You know, it's crazy.
Whatever you're doing is crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
And we love it.
We are here for it.
We're here for it.
Here for
We're all about people who push the boundaries.
Yeah.
Actually, to
Yeah.
quote just right on that, to quote you. This is off a Facebook page, your page on the 9th of February. Don't worry, it's not controversial.
Go ahead.
You said, I'm a strong proponent of giving accolades when they can be received and appreciated. When I die, they will not mean anything if I never had them when I was alive. And then you went on to attach People Like You video by Grams Morgan.
Yeah.
So this is what we are doing to you right now before the final question, is giving you your flowers.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, appreciating you keeping the faith, you pulling in the network, all these friendships that you've built, all the work that you've put in, all the impact that you're creating through not only Picha Safi, but every other work that you've done in the different places. Ours right here on Busy Being Born is saying, we are seeing you consistently improving and we celebrate that.
Thank you.
So receive your flowers.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Much appreciated.
Yeah, tutakuwepo. We'll come for the premiere.
Please make sure you do.
Yeah, we'll do. And
Talk about that premiere.
Yeah.
I want to mention Kuria Kabucho. This was my DOP. He's been with me through this period. We met Kitambo, but we reconnected. So he was my DOP. Amazing. He died on that set. He's the only person who never got a break the whole 5 days. Yeah, because he was the only DOP on set, so we didn't have a second. So him is really Greg Kiwo. Yo, that guy went over and beyond. The visuals that you will see, that guy is top on that. He was top of his game. Ace of Face, Victor Washira and his people.
Shout out Washira.
They did amazing on that set. So I just needed to mention them. Dominion, of course, I've mentioned him. Wache, I've spoken about him. I think the rest, I appreciate you all. But I needed to mention this particular because they really sacrificed for that.
Shout out
Yeah,
Wache. Like all this, all your friends, mini fan. Mini fan, Mazi. Our final question.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know how we roll. At this point, we ask them their question. And we started off by saying, speaking of pulpits, so imagine yourself with Mwai Kibaki next to you, with Wangari Maathai, Tyler Perry, all these great human beings of African descent on this platform. And you have this chance to speak to the world, but knowing that your target audience is the African people. Yeah. So all of them might get a chance to speak, but in this very moment, you won't get your chance to speak, but you have a message on your t-shirt and you're hoping that they'll see your message as Africa, as humanity, read it and get your message from it. So a short statement, what comes to mind in terms of what you'd like to share out there to the world, to Africa?
It's simple. The message will read, be yourself, everyone else is taken.
Be yourself, everyone else is
It's
taken.
taken.
Asante sana.
Asante.
Mr.
Yeah,
Fred.
yeah.
Thank you so much for yeah, tuning in. I know it's been a long one, but as always, we've enjoyed every
You know
bit
how
of
we
it.
roll.
Yeah, like tutamaliza by 11.
tulikuwa tunajua ni target, a moving target.
1.5 hours later.
Yes, sir.
But thanks for listening up to this point. Please try your best to catch Picha Safi 541 4th of December.
5th
of December, sorry.
Yes.
Catch it on, catch the details on their website and on all their social media, and we'll also be plugging it as much as possible between now and then, because it's a great thing, and we're here to support each other. But
Yes,
other than that, asanteni sana for tuning.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, was a mini fan or whatever this brother of ours is doing. I'll definitely be there.
Awesome.
I can't wait to check out all the works that you've put together.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know how we roll, maze. Na mnajua, you know how si umaliza na Thanksgiving. So shout out Grace, welcome back. We missed you. We missed you, maze. Like kulikuwa kumeja masculine energy kwa hii room, yani. We get like lady guests wako, I'm not ladies huku. But anyway, thank you, Grace. Abu, shout out kama kawaida. Bless up, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, you know how we close it. Kamande.
If you're not busy being born,
Then you're probably nimekuthrow tu. Then you're
wait, 5th is on a Thursday.
It's on a Thursday.
Thursday.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's on a Thursday.
Yeah.
Calendar's booked.
Great
5th
timing.
of
Please.
December.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
And welcome.
Yeah. Asanteni sana.
Mm.
Ladies and gentlemen, wish you lots of happiness
Yes,
and lots
sir.
of joy. You know what you always say: if you're not busy being born,
Then you're probably busy not leaving.
come on.
Kigodu.
Peace.
Peace. Yes.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. Do look out for more from us. For now, kwaheri.